Yo, yo.
What's up, everybody? And welcome back to the BallGame podcast. I am the innocent bystander, Matt Sullivan.
I'm Tom.
I'm Chris.
As you can see, we're continuing to improve the setup. I hope you guys like the new setup. Obviously, we have arms for the mics. We have lights in the background. Don't worry, one step at a time. Soon enough, we're going to have a bunch of stuff up here. He is wearing a big-time Dolphin shirt. Obviously, that's one of Chris's 75 teams, even though there's only 32 in the NFL. I'm actually wearing my own jersey. Kind of conceited, I'm not going to lie. But
I have a Tribe Called Quest shirt on, if anyone cares. I feel like we went two for two, you know. I had to put it out there.
you know what, Tom? It's the coolest shirt
I'm
here.
honestly gonna
thanks, dog.
adjust this camera.
It's the coolest one.
We were also thinking about putting a stripper pole right here. Let us know.
That's a great idea. Honestly,
Anytime one of our bets hit, we're gonna just bust it down. Live on
brilliant.
air. So
Honestly,
just,
it's brilliant.
you know.
But yeah, as you can see, we're trying our best to make a setup as aesthetically appealing as possible to you guys and as effortless and easy for us. So it's been a work in progress, still is a work in progress. Odell Beckham is here. And yeah, so hopefully soon enough, Odell Beckham will be live in the flesh. We hope.
That's the title, so he better be.
Clickbait the shit out of people.
Week 6 recap featuring Odell Beckham.
But week 6 was, I'm going to be honest, one of the worst weeks of NFL football I think I've watched, if I'm being entirely honest. I sat down for Red Zone, as per usual, on the Sunday, and I'm going to be honest, I was very disappointed.
I was playing the COD beta for most of
I don't
Red
blame you
Zone.
because
Red Zone.
I don't remember who I texted. I think it was Lav, and I texted him, and I was like, shout out, Lav. And I texted him, and I said, yo, that was one of the worst Sundays of football that I've ever watched in my life.
I read a stat that offenses are just like
Historically
like
hitting
scoring,
the under.
like the amount of points they've put up, I think through 6 weeks is the lowest in like 10 years or something like that. Like it's not.
I don't know what it is. It feels like the great defenses in the NFL are like historically great right now.
Yeah.
Like the Browns, the Niners, a bunch of teams that we're going to be talking
Right.
about. But yeah, it's incredible. Like it's insane that things have reached this level in a league that's so offense friendly. And yet here we are. All these defenses are dominating games on a weekly basis. So
Sorry, bro. Wemby nutmegged somebody
you know, it doesn't surprise
at
me.
half court.
He's
Move
ridiculous.
that mic
That's insane.
down slightly, like
I'm gonna do the same, man.
down,
I don't
like the arm.
Oh,
Yeah,
Okay.
like that.
Yeah.
Like
oh, it's
up
better.
a little bit. Yeah, like in your mouth.
Ah.
Yeah.
know.
Swallow that shit.
I
Anyways, speaking of swallowing, the New York Giants seem to be doing a lot of that.
Wow.
But
that was
every
a
time they
crazy
swallow,
transition.
But every time they fucking swallow, guess what they do? They fucking choke on all of it, whatever it is,
on air.
all of it, right down their throats, choking every single time. All right, I guess we will start in New York as the fake New York team, the New York Giants, face the actual real New York team, the only real New York team in all of the NFL, the Buffalo Bills. And the Bills won by a final score of 14-9. What a shit game this was. What a shit game this started off as, I should say. Because at the end of this game, it was insane. The whole fourth quarter was crazy. But the game itself kind of sucked. Giants got screwed at multiple points in this game, in my opinion. So let's talk about it. Early takeaway. First thing that comes to your mind, obviously the main thing we should be talking about is late game. How do we feel about, obviously we're the Giants fans. How do you feel, Tom,
So
about that?
we were, me and you were talking about it a little bit before. You said you wanted the Giants to lose, and after the game,
At first.
after the game, I was like, you know what? That was kind of the best outcome. We put up a fight against the Bills, but we lost.
It wasn't pretty.
It was bad, dude. Like the Giants are just bad. I have some numbers here. First of all, I said it to you too. Tyrod had 2 like incredible passes. The one to Hyatt that went out of bounds, and the one to Slayton on the sideline.
Dots.
Like those were dimes. I'm gonna do a little comparison. Tyrod Taylor's QBR is an 88 on a 68.6% completion percentage. Daniel Jones is at a 32.4 QBR on a 53.6 completion percentage.
I'm running away with the Sam Howell over Daniel Jones
Yeah.
passing touchdowns bet.
This sucks because he's hurt now too. Like he might not even play this week.
I mean, even then, the offense is 31st in passing yards per game at 166.7, and 21st in rushing yards per game at 98.8. You would think a team that's 1-5 throws the ball a lot, so those passing stats would be a little juiced. No, they just suck.
Exactly good.
As far as first of all, Brian Dable always looks pissed. So people are like obviously blaming the coaching because you're 1-5. Everyone's at fault. But Brian Dable always looks puzzled or confused as to what is going on the field. So there is some miscommunication.
Clear disconnect.
So, yeah, a disconnect all across the organization, honestly. What else do I have here?
I will say the offensive line, while
had their
not
best game.
good, they had their best game of the season.
Yeah.
And I mean, look, is it a coincidence that it happened to also be the game that Danny didn't play? Like, I don't know. I don't want to just throw things out there like that. I love Daniel Jones, and I want to defend Daniel Jones. I'm a big-time Daniel Jones defender. But, like, this was not a bad pass rush either, by the way. Like, it's not like we're talking about a bottom-tier team. This was one of the best pass rushes to this point in the entire league in the Buffalo Bills. And they looked like they handled them decently well. I mean, Tyrod was kept clean a decent amount in this game, I felt. But in the end, it is Tyrod Taylor. Like, how much am I really going to expect him to do throwing the football? He, as you said, he dropped some dimes, and he led us down the field to put us in position to win a football game, which is crazy. Tyrod almost had his revenge, but, you know, as things would have it, fate decided that the New York Giants shouldn't.
And the referee.
Fate decided that the Giants shouldn't win that football game, and they did not call a holding penalty on the final play of the game.
So I'm not going to sit here and say, like, oh, Waller got held. Like, Waller did get held.
He did.
But in real time, that's a hard call to make. Like,
it is.
when I watched it
and
back.
he just made a
that's
pass.
yeah, exactly.
Say it's very hard for a ref in any sport in a late game scenario to blow
on the
the whistle
1 yard line.
twice.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
twice
just
is rough.
Yeah, it's just one of those things that
like a blatant. It was a blatant hold.
Right.
Like,
yeah, it was clearly a hold.
Held him and
literally held his left arm down.
Stopped his progression of his other arm. I want to give a shout out to Justin Pugh. Straight off the couch.
Off the couch, yeah.
Not only did he ball out, he didn't ball out, but he played a solid game.
Given the circumstances.
He came right off the couch to play guard, and then Josh Azudu gets hurt, and now he's playing left tackle.
Yep.
Like, that's just a veteran's veteran, you know, being able to do that. So shout out to him. The Giants really did play a good game. I mean, Bobby Okereke had one of the best linebacker games I've seen in a long time.
Oh, my God.
I mean, this dude was all over the field, 10 total tackles. I mean, he was really causing havoc all over the field. And it sucks that you guys couldn't escape with a win because you guys really did have it in the bag. The Bills' offense was struggling. Yeah. The Bills' offense was struggling.
The other guy I want to shout out on defense is Micah McFadden. Him and Bobby have been like the only bright spots on the whole team for the most part.
Yes. So let me clarify. I'm sorry. I said that Justin Pugh balled out. He didn't, but he shouldn't have been in that
for a
position.
guy that was not on a team last week.
Exactly. Right. Exactly. He shouldn't have been in that position. But yeah, Bobby Okereke, for the first few games, I was like, wow, we really gave this guy bad money. Like, this is not good. He doesn't look good. And now all of a sudden, the last few games, he's looked like everything you paid him to be and then some. Like, and Micah McFadden has been getting a decent amount of credit. He's solid for where we drafted him.
Right, yeah.
Solid for where we drafted him. He's not, I wouldn't even say he's an average NFL linebacker. I'd say he's still a below average NFL linebacker. But for where we drafted him and the production that he's giving us at this current moment, I got to give him some credit. He's worked his ass off to be in this position. But there's so many glaring holes on this roster right now.
God, yeah.
That I personally don't know what you do. I personally don't even know what you do, and it's crazy.
Give Caleb Williams 10% of the team.
Oh my God, bro, that's the most insane thing I think I've ever seen.
Unreal.
When I've read that, I was like, nah, this has to be a fake report. Like, I need Caleb to come out and say, like, this is false reporting. Like,
Yeah.
I never said this, because that is insane if that's actually the case. No way that is a real thing. No way. There's no way. No player has been drafted and given a piece of a franchise off rip like that.
That is unreal.
No
It is
player.
nuts.
So I don't give a fuck who you are. Ain't no way you're stepping in the league and getting that. It's enough that you're getting the salary that you're getting. You should not be getting, as long as you haven't, like, if you haven't proven yourself. Aaron Rodgers getting an ownership stake for the Jets makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
I have no qualms about it, because I know Aaron Rodgers. I know what he is. He's already proven himself as an NFL quarterback, one of the greatest ever. Caleb Williams ain't proved shit. All you just did was throw 3 picks against Notre Dame and lose your team the fucking game. So I don't want to hear none of this. I don't want to hear none of this like, oh, I should get an ownership stake. If that's actually coming from him, that's crazy. You've proven nothing to this point. Nothing. And I'd love to see you in a Giants jersey. Don't get me wrong. But you've proven nothing to this point. So, but anyways, yeah, back to the Giants. We're bad. And it's okay. At least we fought. At least we fought.
We do have to talk about the end of the first half, though.
That's what I was gonna get to. It was just bad.
So my understanding is it was an option. We think it was an option by Tyrod.
I think everyone knows, because Chris Collinsworth said that shit 30 fucking times.
Yeah.
He audibled. Yeah, he audibled.
Exactly. Chris Collinsworth. When he says something, like, just know when you're watching those primetime games, whatever he says, you're gonna hear that shit 3 or 4 more times.
Do you remember when the RPO first got into the NFL?
Yes.
That was the only thing Chris Collinsworth ever said. He's like, yeah, this RPO. Oh, the way Pat Mahomes runs this RPO. Oh, the RPO is becoming the most important thing in the NFL. Bro, stop. You don't need to say the same thing over and over and over again. You're a good announcer. Like, PFF's cool and all. I use it all the time. But, like, let's calm down a little bit.
But like you were saying, it was clearly a miscommunication.
Right.
And like Chris Collinsworth alluded to, every play in the NFL has a check. You know what I mean? Unless you're in empty, but every play is going to have a check to a run.
Yes.
And it was clear as day that Tyrod clicked his helmet and checked to the run, obviously. But, I mean, that has to be on the OC.
Kafka, yeah.
That has to be on the OC. That has to be on the coaching staff in general. I mean, you're calling the play in this guy's ear. You got to, obviously on Tyrod's part too, he should know that he shouldn't check.
I was about to say that.
But also, I feel like as a coach, you would remind him, no?
That's kind of,
Like, I do understand it is common knowledge. Like, hey, man, there's 10 seconds left in the half. We have no timeouts. Let's not run the ball. But also, like,
he got Saquon Barkley back there, so that's what he's thinking.
I was about to say, you're a vet.
Like, sometimes, though, I feel like you're just in that moment. And it's like, and this is another thing they alluded to on the broadcast. So, like, it's like muscle memory. He had to have seen a look that it was like, oh my God, like, we're going to get a yard or two and get this touchdown if we run the ball. Like, there's something in the defense that is telling me we should run this ball. Like, there's something that we did in practice that if the coaches are telling me, if I see this, check to a run. You know what I mean? So it's just not even anyone's fault. It's just a massive miscommunication on everybody's part, and it really, really costed them. It really costed them.
You know,
you can't leave that scenario without putting points on the board, man.
I mean, you think about it. Those 3 points are the game.
That's the game.
Yeah.
Like, those are quite literally the game. Yes, we lost by 5, but in the end, you kicked the field goal.
You kick the field goal at the end.
You don't,
right.
Like, nothing else happens there except for you kicking the field goal.
Right.
So, and it's one thing for that to happen, but it's another thing for if you're going to check to a run, if that shit gets stuffed, be ready. Everyone needs to get straight to that fucking line of scrimmage.
Well, the Bills were also, like, everyone's going to do this, but the Bills were also, like, laying on Saquon. Like, everyone's going to do that, delay him getting up.
They did.
So
they
that's just going to happen
did.
when you're, you know.
There was some time left, which I thought they were going to be able to have time.
I thought so, too.
Yeah, they laid on top of guys.
Yeah.
Like, they were quite vividly doing that.
It's just such a confidence, not booster, whatever the opposite of booster is for the Giants. Like, you know, you go into Buffalo without your quarterback who you just played, and you don't play a perfect game, but you play a game that's good enough to have the game on the tip of your fingertips, and you blow it. It's just like, it's hard to cut. You're 1-5 now. Like, it's just hard to come back from it. I mean, we were already saying the season was a wash, but, like, now the season's a
I mean,
wash. Like
dude.
it's over now.
Oh, it's most definitely
It's over
a
now.
wash.
They still have no touchdowns in the first half, right?
No.
Okay.
No.
No
It's-
offense.
Well, how do you think this one helped? We didn't score. a
No, I'm
touchdown
just
in the
making. I'm
game.
just making sure. Like looking back.
Yeah, it's rough, man. The Giants are in a very rough spot. A very rough spot.
So
Because you're not like they're a rebuilding roster, but when you pay your quarterback, you're not
Can't be a rebuilding
rebuilding. You know?
roster, right?
Yeah, you can't be a rebuilding.
and it scares me
team.
this whole neck injury too. First and foremost.
Well, he went through
but
this.
He did.
couple-
Yeah, he
2
did.
seasons ago,
Apparently,
right?
it's not the same injury, but like regardless, when you hear neck, I feel like it's something similar. It has to be. But with all that being said, I pose the question: like, if you end up with a top 2 pick, right? Does it have to be Caleb or Drake? Is it absolutely like no question you are taking Caleb or Drake May, or are you still going into next season with Daniel Jones as your quarterback? You're trading down from one of those spots because most likely you're going to get a ridiculous package for either the first or second pick because those are the clear-cut top 2. And you probably get like 2 or 3 first-round picks plus like 2 second-round picks. Like what are you deciding to do in that case? Like what is something that you guys would do in that case? Are you accepting a trade package or are you just drafting one of those 2?
I think it all depends on how high you are on the quarterbacks, obviously. Because we talked a little bit about something like this last week. If you think they're as good as advertised, I think you get them because you don't want to play around with a franchise quarterback. But you put a quarterback in there, and he's got nothing, no one to throw to, no one to protect him. Obviously, a rookie quarterback, you'll be able to make moves and get guys to do that. But I mean, you
still
just
have
paid
Danny on the
you
books.
just paid yeah, right. You just paid this guy $46 million a year, and no one's gonna eat that right away.
So his breakdown for the contract, just to give you guys context, is next year's fully guaranteed, and then I think 16 the following year if you release him is dead cap, only 16. So like yes, you still get the remainder of it, but 16 of it is dead cap. So
Right.
pretty much he has 2 full years of team control where like you cannot cut him, and then after that, it's only 16 million. Which is still a decent chunk of your salary cap, but like the amount that you'd be saving in that case is probably more worth it, especially if Danny's going to play like this for the next 2 years. It's unfortunate, but it's just the worst scenario for a quarterback. Like it
you
is.
paid him all this money, and he doesn't. And we're sitting here, me and you especially, are sitting here saying, "Oh, he's got no one to protect him. He's got no one to throw to." He's not going to get anyone because he got all this money. So it like I said, it's the worst scenario for him to be in.
Yeah, it's rough.
And the Giants, I mean, it's a tough spot to be in, man.
So we got to trade Saquon.
Yeah.
Has to happen.
Do you think they trade him at the deadline?
Yes. Yes, he's as good as gone, I think. I hate to say it, but he's as good as gone. What's the point of keeping him? You're going to keep him for the remainder of a season
You're gonna
that's
kill
already
him.
gone. That's already lost,
Yeah.
by the way. And then you're going to lose him for nothing. That's what's going to happen. You're going to lose him for nothing.
Right.
I'm pretty sure if a team signs him, you do get a conditional 4th-round pick, but that's not the point, or not conditional. You get a 4th-round pick, whatever. You make a trade with another team, Saquon goes there, and now you don't get that draft pick as compensation. That's the right word, compensatory pick. I say a team would be willing to give up a 4th-round pick, and if he plays a certain number of snaps for the remainder of the season, it turns into a third.
Yeah.
Turns into a third. That's not a crazy price to pay for one of the most talented running backs in the league. And I'm saying that as a Giant fan. And if you are the Giants, you have to accept that. Because what else are you going to – like there's nothing else for him here. You're not paying him. You're definitely not paying him because you are not in the position to pay a running back right now.
No.
So, yeah, Saquon's as good as gone. Adoree Jackson will probably get traded at the deadline as well, I assume. Another guy that's on an expiring. Anyone that's on an expiring contract on the Giants right now, start looking for properties elsewhere. Just throwing that out there.
In case your agent hasn't told you yet.
Yeah.
Matty J's here.
I'll do so for you.
certify.
I'm here to help. All right. I mean, I guess we can move on from the Giants side of things. We got to talk about the other team. It was a mess in the first half. The Buffalo Bills did not look good. I will say that much. But the second half, especially the 4th quarter, Josh Allen turned into Josh Allen again. Remembered how to play football. And it needs to be said for this Bills team, they are so over-reliant on Josh Allen having to go Superman for this team to win football games. And that's a problem. And that's what they've ran into in the past. Playoffs in the past. Every year, it turns to the same thing with Josh Allen. And I don't know how to feel about this anymore. Like, I want to say the Bills are Super Bowl contenders, but I don't know if they are.
I just think they're kind of the same old Bills.
Yeah,
Like,
what do you guys think on that?
I think you're right about the Josh Allen thing, but they're also too reliant on Stephon Diggs. He had 16 targets in this game. Like, if he's not throwing the ball to Diggs, nothing's happening. They're not using Dalton Kincaid, which I don't know if that's
We missed
dumb
this
move from
past game, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, did he?
We're gonna-
Okay.
Did.
Oh,
missed
I'm
this
sorry.
game.
Okay, that makes sense why he wasn't in. But Cook had no targets out of the backfield. I think Gabe Davis had 4 targets. And I'm not saying that's a Josh Allen thing. It's an OC thing. It's a receiver thing. I mean, it could be a mix of all of that. But they're too reliant on Allen and Diggs. They can't get anything going. And Cook ran the ball. Like, I think he averaged a little over 5 yards a carry for this past game. And then they gave the ball to Latavius Murray a bunch of times for some reason.
14 for 71 was Cook's line.
Yeah, that's solid. But yeah, like I said, no targets out of the backfield on a guy who's advertised as a pretty good pass catching back. So I think that's the issue there.
I think a lot of it is also, it seems over these past few years, they've struggled to find the middle ground with Josh Allen of him being Superman and not being Superman. Like, to me, I'm looking at the box score, and you bring up the running backs. I'm looking at Josh Allen only carried the ball twice for 11 yards. And I feel like that's a little bit of a concern because he's Josh Allen. He's one of the most electric rushing quarterbacks we have in the game. Like you said, they targeted Diggs a million times, and I don't really have a problem with that.
No, of course, yeah.
He's Stephon Diggs. He's always going to go make a play. But in terms of the other guys, like, yeah, it's hard to get in a rhythm like that when you're not getting targeted all game and then you get a random deep shot. In terms of James Cook, too, I mean, that was the whole thing with James Cook of why he was going to be able to change this offense because of how dynamic he is as a pass catcher out of the backfield. It just seemed like watching this game, it just felt like the offense was all out of cahoots. I don't know if that was really a game plan thing or just the players. It just wasn't their night, but they just seemed very, very out of cahoots. Josh Allen wasn't bad. Josh Allen wasn't bad, but he wasn't great either.
First half was rough.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not concerned about the Bills because this is who the Bills are.
Yeah, I mean,
Do I think they're a Super Bowl contender? I probably wouldn't put them up there with the top dogs, the Niners, the Chiefs, the Eagles.
No.
But,
Next
I mean,
year.
if everything goes perfect for them, can this team win the Super Bowl? Absolutely. If they get hot for, the 4 games in the playoffs, can they win the Super Bowl? Yeah, absolutely.
It appears they're going to sign Fournette.
I don't think so.
no, I think it
I don't
came
know
out that they're not.
I got an
Really?
alert that
I
he
thought-
was
yeah.
visiting with them, and then I got another alert that he's not visiting
I got
with
alert,
them,
yeah.
but other teams are interested in him.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Okay.
very interesting. It would have been
Never saw
strange
the
if they
second one.
signed Leonard Fournette.
I mean, Damian Harris just got hurt.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what
Prayer
the
to him,
severity of
yeah.
it. I know
Yeah.
it's a neck injury, I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure, too, but I don't know what the
Sure he's out of
severity of it.
hospital. Is he in
Yeah,
the
I think
Yeah,
they released him.
But I don't know how long that's going to keep him out, if it does at all. Latavius Murray has actually surprisingly been half decent for them, or at least he looks it. But regardless, as you said, you have James Cook for a reason. And while, yes, he's a very good runner, and we've seen that, most of these games he's been averaging 5 or so yards per carry. But his best asset coming out of Georgia, and if you watch college football, some of you may not, he was a phenomenal receiver. Phenomenal receiver. And that was especially what he was being used as out of the backfield at Georgia. This man would run wheel routes, and no linebacker was able to cover him. They'd split him out wide. You couldn't cover him. He's that talented of a pass catcher as a running back that isn't being used. So something else needs to click for this team. I don't know what it is. Start using James Cook a little bit more in the receiving game, I'd say. Give Josh Allen some easier throws, too. Like, give him a little bit more underneath stuff. Involve James Cook and involve these other guys. Get them going early, man. We know Diggs could beat anybody. 50% of the target share is insane.
I mean, yeah, if Stephon Diggs is on the team, if you throw the ball 16 times to him, do it. Like he's always open. He caught 10 of them. You know what I mean? Like
He's just
the guy's
he's 7'11", like all these other
the
receivers
guy's
right now.
always open. It just for the Bills, it seemed like after the week 1 loss, I'm looking who they played, Raiders, Commanders, and then the Dolphins. They looked like they had a balance of Josh Allen. And he knew how to take what the defense was giving him, and then
he does, and he's been phenomenal. Since that week 1.
He's terrific. But then
you have games like this.
Yeah, you have games like this where he
last
just
week.
He takes everything on and he just tries to do too much, and you just don't know what it is. But I just feel like you said, the offense just isn't clicking.
It's not even that it's not clicking. It's just not clicking consistently.
Right. Yeah.
They have games like this, and it's just like, what is going on in Buffalo? And I'm sure, I don't know who they play next week. I don't have the schedule in front of me, but I'm sure whoever they play next week, they're going to steamroll them.
New
Bills play the Patriots.
They're going to steamroll them. They're going to steamroll
Bills
them.
play
New
the
England,
Patriots.
Tampa Bay, and then Cincy.
Yeah, they're going to
That's their next
steamroll the
3?
Patriots this week. Like, obviously they're going to. So, it's not much to be concerned about. And, we're saying all this about the Bills. They escaped with a win.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the
all they care
most
about.
important part.
And as far as concerned, I'm not any more concerned about the Bills than I already like we said. They're not in that upper echelon of teams, but
Yes.
they, like you said, they could go on a run and win a Super Bowls, and this game isn't changing that for me.
For sure.
So-
Yeah, speaking of teams that are in that upper echelon, so we thought, Philadelphia Eagles were one of the undefeated teams in the NFL that fell this week. And nobody expected this, I can tell you that much. I definitely did not expect the Jets to come out with this one. And yet they did, by a final score of 20-14. And, we had been saying that the Eagles looked like they could be beat. They hadn't reached their final gear, their top gear yet. We knew this.
No free promo.
But I still thought that they'd be able to beat a Jets team with Zach Wilson at quarterback. And then the Jets defense took over without Sauce, without DJ Reed, which is insane to me. What are some of the takeaways from this game? We could start with the Eagles, and then we'll get into the Jets. What do you guys take away from this game on their side of the ball?
The Eagles just, like, I kind of said it about them last week. Their offense kind of similar with the Bills. It just looks like the coaching changes they made are really taking their time to kick in. They look like they're not really clicking. Hurts, he hasn't looked terrific, like the superstar we know he is.
Last year.
It's just not the same Eagles team we saw last year. That's what it feels like. I mean, I know you say all the time that they're gonna get back to that. It's just a matter of time, and maybe it is. With a new coaching staff, that's always gonna happen. But yeah, that's my biggest takeaways for the Eagles side.
I mean, this is who Jalen Hurts is. Last year was a fluke. Jalen Hurts is not no top 5 NFL quarterback. This is what it is. He plays on the fucking best or second best roster in the entire NFL. That's just same shit with Brock Purdy. Jalen Hurts just looks cooler doing it.
He's a prettier Brock Purdy.
Yeah, he just looks cool, and he has more rushing upside. But, I mean, you saw it. His O-line got a little bit banged up and broke through 3 interceptions.
Bad ones, too.
Bad
They were
interceptions.
not
Yeah.
good.
He just, and I know, shout out to the pick a side guys. Can't go a show without mentioning the pick a side guys, obviously, but teams are playing more zone against Jalen Hurts, and teams are blitzing more against Jalen Hurts, and he hasn't been handling it well as a passer. He really has been middle of the pack, and that might even
That's
be
at best.
that might even be generous as a passer. Obviously, we know what Jalen Hurts brings as a rusher. I'm not taking any. He's electric. We saw it in this game against the Jets. He had that one play running to the sideline with a safety draped around his neck, and he threw a dime.
Bro.
Like,
How?
we know Jalen Hurts is capable of some amazing things. And I'm not saying he's a bad NFL quarterback, but this is who he is. He's carried by a great team. He has limitations, and those have been on display this season. The Eagles, this was just bound to happen. They were the healthiest team in the entire NFL last year. They were bound to have some negative injury regression, and The great quarterbacks are able to overcome stuff like that. I'm not seeing that, and they're 5-1. Like they're still in
All
the
this being said,
right. They're still in the driver's seat to win the division. They get healthy. They don't get a break in their schedule though.
No, they don't.
Their schedule
Now it picks up. It's
their schedule is a gauntlet
from here on
They have
out.
the Dolphins Sunday night. Then they have the Commanders. Then they have the Cowboys, the Chiefs, the Bills, the Niners,
Jesus Christ.
the Cowboys again, and then the Seahawks.
There's no breaks.
There's no breaks. It's a literal gauntlet. Like this is. I know a lot of people say Jalen Hurts already passed his test. He got a passing grade in the class. He was second in MVP voting last year. Would have won it if he didn't have to miss the last 2 games. Had 2 playoff games where the team did the heavy lifting. He didn't even have to do shit. And then had one of the better Super Bowl performances we've seen over the past decade. So people will say he passed the test, but there are a lot of people like myself, and I know there's a bunch of other people who said, do it again. Do it again. Let's see it when there's some adversity. Let's see when you have to deal with some injuries. Let's see when your back's against the wall. And right now, I mean, am I wrong if I say he's failing the test?
So, how much of this do we think is attributed to Shane Steichen being gone?
It's definitely a factor. It's definitely a factor. Obviously, who is it now? Not Ben Johnson. Who's the guy there? I'm blanking on his name.
Yeah, me too. I think it is Johnson, though.
It is something.
Johnson.
Brian Johnson.
There it is.
Ben Johnson's with the Lions, right? Brian Johnson. I mean, he was there already, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yes, I'm pretty sure he was the quarterback's coach that got elevated.
So a lot of the stuff should be the same, but when you change coordinators like that, things are going to be different, and it's definitely going to be an adjustment period. And I'm sure that's definitely a factor in some of this, is adjusting to some new things within the scheme, but also Jalen Hurts has to show up. I mean, 7 touchdowns to 7 interceptions isn't good. Like that's not. And again, 3 of them came in this game.
He's going to be the highest paid quarterback in the league at some point too, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he got his bag already.
He got the bag, but like officially, like how much he's making this year, he's going up to 60 million one year.
Yeah,
isn't he?
but there are going to be dudes that are also getting
obviously,
paid,
but I'm just saying, like he just got that
in.
level of commitment.
He got a huge deal.
Yeah.
And look, I'm not saying it was the wrong thing. They
absolutely
found their
not.
guy. They did. They
sure.
found their guy. He's still dynamic enough to win you plenty of games to where you'll see there's going to be games that Jalen Hurts goes for 300 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, and runs another one in the.
He better do it soon.
Like runs another one.
He's got that gauntlet coming up.
You have a goddamn historical receiver. So
Oh my God.
as AJ Brown just continues to wreck everybody,
He just bullies people.
bro,
It's not
like,
nice.
It's not okay to be 6'2", 230, and you can run a 4.5, and on the field it looks like you run a hell of a lot faster than that. And he's built like an alien. Like his muscles have muscles. Like it doesn't make any sense. And then obviously you have quite the opposite in the Slim Reaper in Devontae Smith, but nonetheless effective. He had a very key drop in this game, might I add. Devontae had a huge drop that could have very well swung this game entirely. But the last pick that Jalen Hurts threw,
Oh my God.
where was he looking?
That was so. I literally have it written here. Hurts' last pick was awful. That was
What?
bad, dude.
In the
I just think
world
that-
was that?
And we're gonna segue into the Jets at some point. That was, might have been just the Jets defense getting in his head, because he was, like, that's just a bad and like Hurts last season didn't make bad reads like that. Like that was just horrible.
That was rough. Like very,
Yeah, that was
rough.
a bad pick.
But
Like
yeah,
28 for 45, 280 yards, a touchdown, and 3 interceptions is not
That's bad.
It's not a good game.
That's bad.
it's an atrociously bad game.
Yeah.
We just watched Gardner Minshew pretty much do the same fucking thing, and we're gonna crucify Gardner Minshew for that. But Jalen Hurts, like, a lot of people are gonna be like, "Yo, you get a pass for it, like whatever." But I can't give him that, bro. You can't lose this game. This is you need to be 6-0, especially with the upcoming schedule that you have. Every loss right now, like this, is gonna add up. If you start spiraling a bit and losing a bunch of those games to those great teams, this is gonna add up. And you better hope that this doesn't come to kill you. this loss.
Right. I mean, the Eagles' defense did their part. They gave up 20 touchdowns. 12 of those came off field goals, and then the lone
20
touchdown.
touchdowns.
20 touchdowns.
20 points. My bad. They gave up 20
Damn,
points.
Jack.
That's a lot
They
of
gave up-
touchdowns,
My bad.
guys.
They gave up 20 points. 12 of those came on field goals. The other 8 was on the touchdown that Breece Hall scored
Yes.
one play into their drive when they were set up with amazing field position off a Jalen Hurts interception.
Horrible pick.
Like, I mean, so other than that one touchdown where you gifted them field position, your defense didn't allow a touchdown. Like, your defense did their part,
Yeah.
Yes.
holding them to only 4 field goals for
Yeah.
80% of the game,
You gotta win
85%
that,
of the
yeah.
game. You gotta win that. Only being able to put up 14 points isn't good. And I know the Jets defense is elite, probably the best in the league. I mean, we could segue to. Is there anything else about the Eagles?
No, that's about all.
This Jets defense might be the best in the league.
There's
I
three.
I
three or
don't
four
know.
really, really good defenses.
There's
Like,
they're close to that tier, I would say. If they're not in that tier, Niners, in my opinion, still far and away. Actually, no.
I don't even.
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
I was gonna say.
They played each other this week.
Yeah,
The two best
we'll get into
defenses in
that,
football, in my personal opinion. And then the Jets are right there at number 3, in my personal opinion. But regardless, as I said, there are defenses this year that are playing at historical levels, and not just great levels, like historical levels. And that's the Niners, the Browns, and the Jets. And I feel, what did he say after the game? Robert Saleh. He
I have
said
it here. We've embarrassed all of
we
them.
played
referring
6
to-
great
yeah.
quarterbacks, and we've embarrassed all of them. And
They made him apologize for that, like the next day, which is
So
ridiculous.
bro, so
Like, talk
weak.
your shit.
No fun league is what the NFL is.
It's crazy.
But yeah, I mean, they're up there for sure. They might have the best linebacker duo in all.
I was about to
Oh my
say their
God, man.
linebacker duo, Quincy
Williams is
and
killing
CJ Mosley are the only linebacker duo to both be graded in the top 10 at their position in
That's
PFF.
that's
Yep.
unreal.
I mean, you have a fucking young star in Bryce Huff. This
Yes.
man wins
Oh my
every time at the line. Jermaine Johnson, shout out to Dean for predicting that breakout. Jermaine Johnson looks like a beast. I mean,
Yep.
Carl Lawson, who was so huge for them last year, isn't playing. He's not a part of their pass rush rotation.
He's gonna get traded.
Yeah, he is going to get traded. And I mean, obviously, you were able to do this. You were able to, like I said, hold the Eagles to pretty much 4 field goals. I'm not even really counting that Breece Hall touchdown because you gifted them field position.
Yep.
But you held them to 4 field goals. You were without your 2 all-pro corners.
Yep.
Like, that's really super
It's
duper
unbelievable.
impressive.
Yeah.
I mean, you're getting a hell of a season out of Bryce Hall for what he is, the 3rd, 4th corner. Jordan Whitehead's really turning it around. He had the 3 picks against the Bills, but overall, he's having a really good season. I mean, I don't know. There's a real argument that this is the best defense in the league. They're balling right now.
So they've held. Allen had a 62.7 QBR against him. Mahomes had a 63.6. Hurts with a 60.1. Like, that is no easy task. That is impressive. 3 interceptions against Hurts, 3 against Allen, and 2 on Mahomes.
We're talking about guys that we would have had in our top 7 going into the season in quarterbacks.
They've
And
also, sorry to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
They've allowed 1 touchdown post halftime on 37 drives.
It's nuts.
They've only lost the turnover battle once with Zach Wilson at quarterback.
That's crazy.
Like, can you imagine hearing that before the season? And Hurts, the one stat I have is Hurts was pressured 20 times. That's 6 more than any game over his last 2 seasons. 20 pressures.
It
against
didn't
Jalen
help
Hurts.
that, I will say, it didn't help that Lane Johnson went down early.
Right.
Lane Johnson went down and out early on in this game, but regardless, you mentioned Bryce Huff before. This man on 27 pass rushing snaps, right? He had a 29.5% win rate, which is ridiculous. In case y'all didn't know, the NFL average is right around 10%. And this man was consistently doing that, dominating, just consistently. And then Jermaine Johnson, similar thing, only a 16% pressure rate, pass rush win rate. But regardless, these guys are literally wrecking games.
We haven't even brought up Quinnen Williams.
Quinnen Williams, oh my
Hasn't
God.
even been mentioned.
Quinnen Williams. And it's ridiculous. Like it really is. Just the depth of pass rush on this team. Bryce Huff, Quentin Jefferson, Quinton Williams, Jermaine Johnson. You mentioned Carl Lawson. He decided to step in this game. Finally. And then Will McDonald is another guy.
It's such a shame. It is such a shame that the Jets wasted a draft pick on Will McDonald. It really is such a shame. They could have used that pick on anyone else at any other position who could have contributed.
Yes.
I understand.
He's also
that.
Gonna be
I understand.
He's a player worth the pick.
That's their thing, is having pass rush depth, but it's just not what they needed. It's just not what they needed, man. Imagine JSN on the other side of Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave. I'm just naming all the Ohio State
college teammates. Yeah.
Garrett had a moss.
Yeah.
No, that was
different.
crazy.
He's different. But imagine JSN on the other side, or any of the other fucking Puka Nacua for all I care. Any other fucking rookie receiver.
Imagine.
I mean, looking back at that draft, Puka would easily be a first round pick.
Well, we did that,
yeah.
But
just any of the receivers, or just some O-line help, just anything other than another fucking corner for all I care. Just not fucking Will McDonald. That's just not what you need. It sucks. I would be like
Brian Branch.
Brian Branch would be crazy on this defense. It would be insane. It would be insane. And I'm not saying Will McDonald's a bust. Like I'm not really too familiar with his game. I know he's an athletic freak.
Yeah,
he is.
Freak time. But I'm not saying he's going to be a bust, but man, they really could have drafted someone who could have been a key contributor to this team. So that's a shame, but they're fucking balling right now, man.
The other thing we have to talk about with the Jets is Aaron Rodgers throwing a football around 34 days after. Do we think there's a realistic chance he doesn't play this season?
Nope.
So I said the whole time, I'm like, there's no, like, you guys are delusional. There's no way this motherfucker plays. Like, once the injury happened and people were like, oh, no, he's going to be back for the playoffs. I'm like, you're delusional. But, bro, that's not normal.
He just might.
That's not normal, bro. That is not normal to be walking normally like that.
Put weight on it.
Yeah, it's not normal. It's not normal. I don't know if he'll play. I'll probably predict he doesn't play.
Yeah.
But, man, that's not normal.
He was on Pat McAfee, and he was, obviously he's every Tuesday, but they asked him, obviously, if he's gonna play, and he was just like, can't really put a date on it. Like, he's like, I'm rehabbing really well, and just making milestone after milestone. He's rehabbing with J.K. Dobbins also.
They're a great
They're so
duo.
funny, yeah.
They're an amazing duo, might I add. I hope to God that J.K. Dobbins comes back healthy and plays some football for extended periods of time. But
I'd love to.
Yeah, Rodgers could do something crazy. Could make some crazy shit happen. He could make some crazy ass shit happen. But I highly doubt it. No way. No way you recover from a Achilles injury in 4 months. No. Just no.
If I had to bet on it, I'd say no. But he's defied every expectation of this injury so far.
See, here's my thing. If he was a young quarterback, I'd feel a little differently. Right. I'd say maybe because when you're younger, it's physical. You heal better. He's 39, bro. He's been at this for a while. Your body's
That's what makes it
up.
even crazier, though.
There's no way. If he does, that will be.
Oh, he'll be a medical miracle.
Yes. Modern medicine needs to high five itself because that would just be the craziest fucking shit I've ever seen.
Dolphin sex or whatever he's into. He's
ayahuasca.
I'll start downloading those audio tapes.
A whole bunch of psychedelics.
Yeah, I'll start taking
psychedelics too.
Back from an Achilles in 4 months.
But yeah, Zach was not especially great in this game once again.
Hey man, you win the turnover battle 0-3 for Zach Wilson. You're a winner in my book, bro. Good fucking game, Zach.
I'm gonna look at his stat line.
Good freaking game. He was 19 for 33 with 186 yards.
Yeah,
got sacked 5 times. But he did not turn the freaking ball over. No. So he's a winner. He's a winner.
That's really all they kind of need from Zach is just don't lose us the game.
Think about that, though. I agree with you. That's one of the things we say about Zach Wilson. You have this elite defense. Just take care of the ball and we'll have a chance. This is against the second best team in the NFL to that point. And still, that's how great. One, that's how great this defense is. But two, that has to be a huge confidence boost for Zach Wilson.
That's what he
like. Hey, man, like I didn't play the best. Again, 19 for 33, a $186. I didn't throw a single passing touchdown. But my defense is so great that they like. That's a momentum shifter for the team and for Zach Wilson. Like, you know what? Like I know my defense got me. I'm gonna come out next game and I'm gonna ball the fuck out.
Yeah.
You know.
It also needs to be said, I got to throw this out there. His time to throw over the last few games has been
He's getting that ball out.
far better.
Getting that ball out.
Far better. And he actually shredded the blitz in this game, too. 8 of 10 for 119. Like, he's improving in areas that he needs to improve in throughout the entirety of the season.
And he doesn't need to be great at anything.
No, he doesn't.
Just don't be absolute dog shit at at specific things.
He's also
like holding on to the ball or throwing against the.
He's also throwing to Garrett Wilson. And
yes,
that's been a huge thing. Like,
please.
Rodgers said also on the show. He said he was like, I have nothing to do with Zach Wilson's like play this season. Like it's all him, which I'm sure is him boosting his confidence and everything. But yeah, like you said, Zach just needs to not be terrible.
Yes. Completely agree.
And he's getting not great, but he's getting better as the season goes on. You know, he's doing what he's got to do.
That's all that matters.
That's all you need him to do.
Obviously, like when you drop off from Aaron Rodgers to Zach Wilson, your Super Bowl chances kind of go out the window. But I mean, just for the team in general, for the New York Jets, the fan base, the front office to get back into the playoffs in a year that everyone said was a wash, 10 seconds into your season, if you could sneak into the playoffs, that's a huge win.
Yeah.
It's a huge
Big
win.
time.
Shout out to them, man. This was a fun game, and sitting at 3-3, 6 weeks into the season, like that's considering what happened. 10 seconds into your fucking season, like that's a great spot to be in.
If when Rodgers went down, we sat on here and we're like, the Jets are going to be 3-3 by week 6. We all think we were crazy.
Yeah.
Take it. And if you're Jets fans, you got to be on top of them, like over the moon right now. You got to be over the moon right now because, as you said, this is not expected, man. Like this is not.
It just sucks that I've been saying this since Rodgers went down. It's just like every game they win, you just like, what if it was Rodgers?
Yeah.
You know, like because it's look at the Eagles last year. Like it's hard to repeat a great performance for a whole season in the NFL. So there's no guarantees they get this level of play from their guys next year. Like this really could have been their year.
But I will say one thing. Regardless of all that, I don't think it would have been their year due to the fact that their offensive line is beat the fuck up right now. Like destroyed. It's getting bad. It's getting really bad. Everyone's getting hurt. Mekhi Becton somehow, some way has been the beacon of health for this team. If there's one guy that stayed the most healthy on the offensive line, it's Mekhi. And we know damn well that's probably not going to hold up. As much as I wish him all the best and I wish he stays healthy, his career shows we can't trust him to stay healthy for 17 games. The Elijah Vera Tucker injury sucks, and that's what's been happening with him too, and it's unfortunate. Tittman can't stay on the field. That's another one. It's rough. It's rough. These guys are all getting hurt, but somehow Zach's keeping it together. Somehow, some way.
Amen.
And look, you keep throwing that ball to 17, because when you throw that ball to 17, nothing but good things happen. Just put it somewhere near him, and that's it. But
all right, before we move on, which NFL quarterback would you rather have based on their passing stats so far?
Oh, shit.
So far this season.
I know Zach's going to be involved.
So, again, these are passing stats.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So, player A has 1,542 passing yards, 7 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, and a 59.9 QBR.
Jesus Christ.
Right?
Whatever this is.
Yeah.
Player B has 1,500 passing yards on the dot, 1,500, 9 passing touchdowns, 6 interceptions, and a 46.8 QBR.
I can tell you right now, that is not Zach. Oh my God. The fact that there's no rushing involved here hurts the context a little bit, but you did say passing.
Hurts.
I didn't even intentionally do that. But, ooh.
Say player B again. I'm sorry.
9 touchdowns, 6 picks, 48 point something QBR, 1,500
48
yards on
is
the dot.
Fucking
46.8.
Oh, there it is.
46.8 is fucking.
The other guy's a 59.9
Not good.
QBR.
I'm going to have to take player A.
Yeah, I gotta go player A.
Seriously?
Yes.
Bro, that's
The
a
QBR
bad
is a
QBR.
massive difference.
Oh my god.
Let's say the names.
Come on.
See if we're crazy.
Are you
I'll
fucking
take player
second one
B.
is Sam Howell, bro.
Yeah, I'll take player B.
Player A
I'll
is
take-
Jalen Hurts and player B is Sam Howell.
Yeah.
It's player B based
it's
on the
not.
stats. Based on the stats, yes it is, bro. Stop.
The QBR is a massive difference.
Bro, I'd rather have a 9-6 touchdown to interception ratio than a
I was gonna pick play. That's why I didn't listen to the player B stats because I was like, I'm picking player B no matter who it is, but
Bro.
because I know who player
Come
A
on,
is.
heard
man.
player B.
Respect Sam Howell.
Heard player B, and I sat here.
I was literally sitting here and I'm like, it's definitely Sam Howell. It has to be. It's Chris.
Yeah, it is. 100%.
Respect Sam Howell. Come on.
You know what? Jalen Hurts is about to bounce back. He's gonna remind the world why he's a top 7-ish quarterback.
I should have done their stats just in the last 3 weeks because I was looking at that, comparing them the other day.
That's a bad
Jalen
difference.
Hurts and Sam Howell, he's smoking him in the past 3 weeks. Like, actually.
Chris loves
Sam
to see
Howell's
it.
past 3 weeks, he's balling out. He's just
After
getting
that
sacked
bad
so much.
Bills game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a rough one. That accounts for 2/3 of his interceptions this season.
That's crazy.
That's
Yeah.
terrible. Oh my god. All right. Next up, the other undefeated team in the NFL has fallen. There's no more undefeated teams in the league, which is kind of crazy through just week 6 that we don't have an undefeated team in the NFL anymore. 49ers had a chance at the end of this game to kick a 41-yard field goal and win it.
Oh, they took the chance.
Walk out with a win. They had it. It was in front of them. They were going to be 6-0, but Jake Moody missed it. And now they're 5-1. And the Cleveland Browns picked up a win that I absolutely didn't see coming. And they definitely needed to set the tone for the rest of their season as well. For them to be sitting, 3-2 now, I believe it is.
Yeah.
3-2 now. Deshaun Watson hasn't played in the last couple weeks. This is huge for them.
Yeah, it's a
Absolutely
massive
huge
win.
for them. And for it to come with PJ Walker as your quarterback, defense is pretty fucking good. I'll say that much. What are some takeaways on the Cleveland?
PJ Walker didn't help him much. I'll tell you that.
No,
but,
he definitely did.
I have some stats here for the Browns. So, some of these are a little inflated because they missed a week, but I'll just read out the important ones. They have allowed 1,002 yards on the whole season. That's the lowest through 5 games since the Colts in 1971, and I think the third lowest all time. Yards per play 3.8. They're ranked first. Total yards allowed, they're ranked first, 1,002. Cowboys are second at 1,460. 52 first downs, that's first. Second is the Cowboys at 81. Passing yards allowed, 607, that's first. Second is the Cowboys at 843. Average yards per drive is 15.6. They're ranked first. Second is the Ravens by 22.4. Rushing yards is 395, ranked second behind the Lions. So they give up a lot of rushing yards all the time, and you can run all over them, clearly. No.
Is there a weakness?
Is there a weakness? Is there something they're not elite at is the question.
Yeah.
And it's just, I mentioned that, some of those stats might be inflated, but even if I was sitting here looking at it, there is a 458-yard difference between first and second place. That's like 2 games, this defense is historical. And Jim Schwartz is, I believe, 9-1 against Shanahan. So maybe he just has his number,
He
man.
does have his number. He does have his number.
Yeah.
It's crazy, too, because I know me and Matt became big PFF guys this year just because we pay for the service, so we're going to use it.
Shout out PFF.
But,
Shout out PFF.
shout out to PFF. Sponsor us, PFF. Give us a fucking
Yeah, what
code
are we
or
doing
something.
here? Come on.
Give us a code or something.
Facts.
Use code BallGamePod when you use PFF.
Oh, I'll be hitting
just-
your line. I'll be hitting your line.
But the Browns defense doesn't grade out like spectacularly. Is that a word?
Yeah. Spectacularly.
Yeah.
Well, why is
However,
that?
yeah,
That
it's
does not
hard to
roll off
say,
the tongue.
yeah.
Spectacular.
It's not the greatest in terms of how it grades out on PFF, which is a little bit like surprising. They're 9th in like total defense grade at a 75.9. Their run defense is 17. Their tackling grade is
Not high.
26. Their pressure rate's obviously going to be high, 3rd in the league. And then their coverage, which I thought would be much higher, is only at 16th in the league. So it's very surprising to see, just based on PFF. You would think this is like a middle of the pack defense, but I mean, in terms of, I guess just because you have such an elite pass rush, that makes everyone else's job that much easier. But I mean, these coverage guys are playing awesome. I mean, Denzel Ward's a fucking dog. You have Greg Newsome, you have Martin Emerson. These guys are balling out. And then in this game, you have Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. Did I say it right?
Shout out the guy from Notre Dame.
Yeah,
Yes,
dog.
I wanted him so bad
He's
on
a
the Giants.
Yeah, I mean, he had a freaking game in this one.
He is fast.
He's a beast, bro.
He's a
Sideline
machine.
to sideline, he flies around.
He's a machine.
Oh my God, and he hits hard.
Yeah, I mean, when you have a guy like that who's able to control the middle of the field in your defense, when you have pretty awesome secondary play, and then obviously one of the best pass rushing units in the league, like you said, Tom, it's not a question of what's their weakness. It's a question of what aren't they elite at. And I mean, they showed it in this game. Obviously, the Niners dealt with some injuries. You know, Debo went out in this game.
Right.
McCaffrey went out in this game. But, I mean, we did the show last week. Brock Purdy was our undoubtedly the MVP.
Right.
That's
They held Brock Purdy to 12 for 27, 125 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. Brock Purdy looked very pedestrian in this game.
I will say one thing: the conditions sucked,
They
and
did.
that very obviously hindered Purdy.
It did.
He had a play where he went to throw the ball, and
dropped
he didn't
that
even
shit,
hold the
yeah.
ball. So there was that. The ball slipped out. He missed Ayuk on a couple throws because the ball was slipping. You can't give him a pass because he's going to have these conditions in the playoffs. That's a problem. That's a problem. If you face a playoff game where these are the conditions, it's not going to help. But, yes, Browns were great. Absolutely. I completely agree.
The other I want to shout out Jadeveon Clowney is having a under the radar great year. He's got 3.5 sacks on the season, and I think he had four QB hits. Yeah.
Tom, you sold the bag.
You ready to laugh?
Did I?
Yeah.
You know that's not Jadeveon, right?
Who is
You know
it?
who that is?
Who?
Zadarius Smith.
The fuck out of here.
And they look the
Really?
exact same. They look the exact same with the
No.
fucking
Yeah.
pads and the helmet on.
No, that's a
It's
lot.
I don't know
Zadarius
if
Smith,
you
yeah.
have Zadarius Smith's stats there, or you just
I looked up
Clowney's
Clowney's stats.
That
Yeah.
murderfucker's on the Ravens, bro.
He is.
What?
He is indeed
Swear
on
to
the
God,
Ravens,
yeah. Wearing number 24 too,
Yes,
if I'm
so
not mistaken.
weird. He is wearing
Yeah.
number 24.
Oh,
Zadarius
I
Smith.
put it in the wrong fucking section. All right, yeah. Well,
Zadarius Smith
but
has been
Clowney
very
is
good.
having a
Clowney
great
is
season.
those aren't Clowney stats. He's having a good year. Shout out Jadeveon
He had a
Clowney.
hell of a game.
Yeah,
in
that's what.
London.
Oh, I just put it in the wrong section. I have the Ravens right above this, so I
Yeah.
just started
Nah,
it.
shit
That's
happens,
fine.
bro.
Yeah, okay. Browns also ran for 160 yards against what we've been saying is a historically good defense without Nick Chubb, obviously, with Kareem Hunt and Jerome
Ford's a good
Ford.
player, bro.
Yeah, my set of the week, he shit all over it.
Jerome
Yeah.
Ford is a good running back, man.
He had a few runs that were very impressive, and one run that he just continued to run backwards. And I was like, Jerome, the line of scrimmage is that way, bro.
Yeah.
You got to run that
Yeah,
way.
I mean, Kareem Hunt was cool in this
He
game.
was
for
good in this
sure.
game.
I feel like Jerome Ford was clearly the better back, though.
I don't necessarily agree.
No.
Kareem Hunt looked very
He
good
did
in
look
this one.
good, and obviously he had the touchdown, so Kareem Hunt's fantasy day looks better. But I don't know. I thought Jerome Ford just had more juice. Has
Yeah.
more juice, I
Yeah.
guess.
He
I think they're a
does.
pretty cool duo. Obviously, no one's going to be able to
Nick Chubb,
replace
yeah.
Nick Chubb, but I think these two guys as a duo, as a two-headed monster, are going to be able to do a pretty solid job. Hopefully, Deshaun gets healthy, man.
Yo, Amari Cooper.
Oh my
Oh,
God,
Man,
Oh,
that was a crazy catch.
that
my
catch was
God.
insane.
I was obviously I'm always at work during the games. I said to Joe Cruz, I was like, honestly, bro, the craziest part about that is that motherfucker kept his feet in bounds.
Yeah.
Like, it was a crazy catch, mossed the dude, but I thought the craziest part was that he kept his feet in. That wasn't like you see people moss dudes all the time.
Yeah.
You know, like people moss dudes, but to moss someone
Maintain
and
your
then toe
balance,
tap that
yeah.
shit is pretty nuts.
That was filthy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was one of the nicer catches I think we've
Jeez.
seen so far this season.
And he also dropped the dude on his route too. That
Yeah.
on one of the like 30-yard catches, it was like a 60-something yarder because he cut inside, but he dropped the corner off the line of scrimmage. And then, look, PJ Walker, just again with these alpha receivers, some of them just heavily target them. Like Amari is that good. We forget
Amari is that good.
just how good Amari Cooper has been throughout the
He'll
entire.
always be one of the most underrated receivers,
Yeah.
no matter what he does.
Yeah.
100%. He might not be as explosive as he used to be. Coming out, I will never forget how good Amari Cooper was coming out of Alabama. But
I loved him. I still do. I fucking love Amari. That's
Yeah.
like one of my guys that I'll ride or die for. But man, him and Derek Carr in those early days, bro,
Something
it
special.
was just so fun to watch. Man. It really was.
I think maybe the biggest takeaway from the Browns is that Deshaun Watson just had pressure alleviated off his shoulders because I don't know if I use that expression right, but who cares? Because we were talking about how the first couple weeks he looked like shit, and the shoulder is that's a bad injury for a quarterback. I think Baker had the same problem on the Browns, right? His shoulder was all fucked up, and then he couldn't. Yeah. But
it's not his throwing arm though. Actually, it is. It is.
Okay,
Yeah. He can't even throw the football right now. Yeah.
As far as him getting back to peak, I think we all know that's out the window. But if he can become 70% of the quarterback he was in Houston, this Browns team can go far, man.
This is a team that if exactly that happens, they can win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Like
I don't know about win the Super Bowl, but they're gonna be in the mix, man. They should be a playoff team.
yeah.
I'd be pretty surprised if they don't make the playoffs.
It depends how many games they get out of Deshaun, because
Yeah.
PJ Walker's gonna
Can't
bite them in
cut
the
it.
ass
It
at some
just
point.
can't cut it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look up their schedule.
It's
You guys
definitely-
see on TikTok some dude who was a Browns fan when Jake Moody went to do the kick. He
had the fan.
he had a fan on the side of his TV. And that shit just kept
God.
drifting to the right. That shit was mad
my
funny.
God.
So they get Indy, Seattle, Arizona their next 3 games.
Seattle, Arizona. Oh, okay. Well, you have to win the Indy game. You have to win the Arizona game. Seattle's I feel like a coin flip.
Yeah.
It feels like at this point.
And then after that they play Baltimore and Pittsburgh. So they want to get at least 2 wins.
Yeah,
I'd
hopefully
say.
Deshaun comes back for
Yeah.
those games. So it's Baltimore, Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Have a bad feeling he ain't coming back anytime soon.
I haven't read up enough about his injury, but the other thing is like I said, a shoulder injury for a quarterback is like that can
Throwing
linger.
arm?
That can linger real bad and can hinder him a lot. And yeah, if they got to roll with PJ Walker the rest of the season, who might I add has one of the best throws in NFL history from when he was on the Panthers.
Oh my God!
It was a Hail Mary to
The
DJ Moore.
DJ Moore Hail Mary.
That is one of the best throws I've ever seen to this day.
Yeah.
That's all I think about every time I see him under center.
You know, it's funny because I was watching the game and I was like, yo, PJ Walker has he's got a little bit of an arm to him. Like he's not like your usual backup quarterback that doesn't have great arm strength and stuff. He has a good arm.
Mhm.
It's just
Sometimes he throws it at the defense.
here. Some of the decisions that he made were awful. Late in the game, for the field goal that they ended up taking to put them up 19-17. The one thing you can't do there is turn the ball over. This man scrambled out of the pocket, right? Which is fine. And you got to stay in bounds because you want the Niners to use their timeouts. What does this man decide to do? He throws cross body, tries to fit it in between 3 defenders, and he gets bailed out so nicely because all of them tipped, the one in the front tipped it, and the one right behind him had the easy pick. He got very lucky on that. And then after that, they decided, all right, we're not throwing the ball again. We are running this football. And it's just those types of decisions cannot be made. You cannot do that. Do not turn the ball over in that situation. And he almost did. Just take your yards, slide in bounds, force them to take the timeout. Take the field goal. You're fine. You don't need the touchdown in that situation. Of course you love it. You don't need it. Be a smarter quarterback. You have an amazing defense.
At the end of the day, though, I'm looking at his stats right now. He went 18 for 34, 192, and 2 picks, and they beat the 49ers.
Isn't that crazy?
That's just unreal.
something, man.
Now we got to talk about the other side of
Right.
this thing. McCaff went out. Debo went out.
Trent Williams too.
Trent Williams went out. This is about, I hate to put it like this, but this is as much of an excuse-filled loss as you could have. The weather sucked. You were in Cleveland. You pissed them off before the game, which is your fault.
That was crazy.
It was fucking stupid, bro. And then obviously you had all these guys go down. Like, there's excuses here. And you still almost won the game.
Right.
You had a 41-yard field goal to win the game.
Yeah.
80-something% of the time that field goal is probably going to go through. No big deal. Done. Fine. Good. You walk out of there undefeated. It just so happened that this was the other 20 or so percent. So, look, it's about as good of a loss as it could come because you should have won the game. But
Yeah, I was saying going into the week that this was a trap. Obviously, I flipped the script when I found out Deshaun Watson was not playing in this game, but I didn't have a good feeling about this game. I think we could spend probably just the next minute about our concern level for the 49ers.
it's not there.
Not
There's no
concerned
concern,
whatsoever, yeah.
I mean, that
Still
that
the
kick-
best team in football.
that kick missed by 4 feet. If it goes in, you're not even talking about it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, still the best team in football.
Yeah. I will say I don't want to say I have that they need McCaffrey. I'm not going to say they need him. I think their offense is great without McCaffrey, but I think it's in a tier of its own with Christian McCaffrey. And I do think that's important to them,
Yeah.
especially when you get into the playoffs because you need guys that you can rely on. And Christian McCaffrey, when he's in the game, is one of the most reliable players in the NFL.
That was the only thing I was going to say. But apparently none of the injuries are long-term injuries, so they should be fine. But my biggest deal, and this is the only place that I draw concern from this. I mentioned it before. It was bad conditions, and we saw that Brock Purdy pretty much can't hold on to a football if it's fucking raining bad outside, which is not good. Say you play in a playoff game where you just so happen to have really shit conditions, and you're going to lose the game because Brock Purdy can't hold on to the football. That's my only concern.
It's an
That's it.
experience thing.
That's it. But it comes down to weather. Anything else, I think you're fine. But that's
Mother Nature will determine the 49ers Super Bowl outcome.
Fate.
Yeah.
Fate. Yeah, Mother
in your
Nature will
hands.
determine it. It's that simple. But yeah, in the end, I'm not concerned about this team. What I will say is Trent Williams, even when he was playing, was getting bullied by
That does not
the
happen
best
often.
edge defender in the entire NFL. And a freak of nature.
He does whatever he wants. He plays around like
It's not okay.
does whatever he wants against whoever he wants.
It's
yeah,
not
Trent
okay.
Williams does not get bullied.
You know who I miss? I miss Dalvin Tomlinson. He also had a really fucking good game.
Yeah.
Shout out to Dalvin because he also had a great game. But yeah, this pass rush all around, incredibly talented. Incredibly talented. So you can't block Myles Garrett. Nobody.
That's just it.
Not even the best offensive tackle in the NFL could do it.
Even when you have two guys shadowing him when he's running.
Oh my
He
god.
was, I don't know, that was last week,
Dude's
but-
Euro stepping and shit before the play.
He's just doing shit.
He's having fun out there.
Yeah.
He's having fun out there. This Cleveland Browns defense is special. It's very special. But yeah, I'm not concerned about the Niners.
No.
Not at all.
Yeah.
I think they'll be perfectly okay. So
And Brock Purdy's this is his first bad game in 10 games in his
and
career.
Ayuk had a bad drop in this one, might I add.
Yeah.
Had a bad drop in this one, might I add. So again, not concerned. They'll be okay.
Yeah, they're
They'll
still,
be perfectly
yeah.
fine. You're still the best team in football.
Yeah,
This does not change my feeling on how good this team is.
for
So
sure.
all right. Next up, let's see. Who else we got here? We'll talk about
Cowboys.
Cowboys. Yeah, we'll talk about the other primetime game, the Monday Night Football game. Dallas Cowboys beat the Los Angeles Chargers by a score of 20-17, and it came down to the last drive. And Jay Herbo, my Pookie Bear, my social media quarterback, and he didn't come through.
Threw it to the defense.
What a fucking surprise. Are we fucking shocked? Is this anything new? Is this anything new? That
pretty sure-
Justin Herbert can't come through when his team needs him the most.
I think this is a false narrative because I'm pretty
Is
sure
it?
he has multiple.
Is it?
Does he have a lot of game-winning drives under his belt?
Doesn't matter. The last 4 examples I could think of are this past one against the Dolphins. Who was the other one this season? Because it wasn't. He had a chance to. Who'd they play week 2? Who'd they lose to week 2? When they had a chance to win it.
Blanking. Hold on, I'll get it here.
Lost. Oh my God. I'm blanking.
Tennessee.
Yes.
Tennessee, right. He had a chance to win it in Tennessee. And the Vikings game, he even got lucky. And then in the playoffs, brother blew a 27-0 lead. Justin Herbert just isn't clutch, and that's okay.
All right, time out.
I don't care about the stats.
This narrative has to stop. He's been in the league for 4 years. This is his 4th year, right? And he has 14 game-winning drives. 14! That is currently tied for 11th amongst active quarterbacks in the NFL. Who's he behind? Matthew Stafford, Russell Wilson, Derek Carr, Aaron Rodgers, Andy Dalton, Kirk Cousins, Ryan Tannehill. Wow, another
Brother, that list is invalidated. You got Ryan Tannehill, Andy Dalton.
Forever. They've been in the league for
Doesn't
forever.
move me.
And then Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, and Jared Goff is tied with him. These are all guys who are far more tenured than
Doesn't
him.
move me.
Far more tenured than him. So we can't
It's
just
just
say
for a guy who we want to say is a top 3 talent, a top 5 guy. He hasn't done shit. And like you could say it's a recency bias, but I mean, I think that's just how we grade players in football. There has to be a little bit of recency bias. Recently, so far this season, he hasn't showed up. Like, he has great counting stats, don't get me wrong. If the team had a better record, he'd be a fucking MVP candidate. Probably the MVP frontrunner.
he would be.
If they had a better team record. But his team has put him in a situation where he could go out and win the game 3 times, and he hasn't come through 3 times.
Yeah.
He had a chance to win it against the Dolphins. Had a chance, got the ball first in overtime against the Titans, and had a chance to lead a game-winning drive here against the Cowboys. And he hasn't shown up, and that's a problem. For any other quarterback, if this was Jared Goff, it wouldn't be a problem. We'd say, wow, Jared Goff, you're so good. Your stats are so good. Your team just needs to be better, Jared Goff, if it was Jared Goff. But this is Justin fucking Herbert, who we want to put in these conversations. We want to have a conversation about Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow. We want to have a conversation about Justin Herbert and Josh Allen. Let's not have those conversations. I mean, he just hasn't done shit. And it's not, see, like, you could bring up that stat about, oh, he has 14 game-winning drives in his career, blah, blah, blah. But now it's starting to become a trend.
Yeah.
What if the playoff game traumatized him for life? Seriously. I'm being serious. What if that's who he is? What if Justin Herbert's now a choker? Show me otherwise.
He will.
You get the Chiefs this week. Beat the Chiefs.
Oh, boy.
Beat the Chiefs and shut me up. Make me shut up.
Make that defense look silly.
I would love to eat my words. Justin Herbert, like, he is super talented, can make every throw in the book, but
he's handsome. We forgot
he's a social media quarterback. I don't think he's that handsome either.
A good-looking dude. I don't know. I think he's a handsome.
He's all right.
All right.
And he's muscular and tall.
Yo, side note, the ref in that game.
Oh my
He
God.
was jacked.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Jacked.
That was a big boy.
He was jacked. Even fucking my girlfriend said it to me when we were watching. She was like, why isn't that ref playing?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Bro, he had like mad bicep veins.
He's trying. He don't want to get tested. He's about to get tested.
He was yoked.
Oh my God, bro. That shit was crazy. I thought the same thing. I was watching the game. I'm like, bro, this dude is huge.
Yoked, bro, yoked.
How much of because the Chargers just choke. Like, that's just what they do. Herbert or not.
Ribs.
Yeah, before Herbert. So,
but that's my gripe. Justin Herbert is supposed to be the guy.
He's not changing it. Yeah, right.
And it's just been the same story.
My question was, how much of it is Staley, do you guys think?
A lot of it.
Yeah.
Oh, a decent amount.
A lot of it. They shouldn't even be in these situations. Justin Herbert shouldn't even be in these situations where he has to lead a game-winning drive. Specifically, in this one, I think is on him. I don't think he played a really good game in this one. I don't know. 22 for 37, 227, 2 touchdowns, and then the game-sealing interception. Like, it wasn't impressive at all. So this one I think is on him, but in general, I mean, against the Dolphins, they shouldn't have been in that situation. The defense obviously sold the bag. Same thing against the Titans.
Staley had to go after that.
Yeah, Staley's had to go. I think the defense for the Chargers has started to turn it around
Yeah.
a
I was
little
actually
bit.
about to say that. Yes.
In this game in particular, too, I mean,
They look like a joke week 1.
yeah, I mean,
1 and 2.
Khalil Mack looks fucking rejuvenated.
Yeah.
Dean Marlowe had a few huge plays in the secondary in this game. They just brought in my boy from the Falcons, who they waived, Jalen Hawkins.
Yes.
They brought
Yes,
Jalen
they
Hawkins
did.
in, my boy. But no, I mean, the defense looks rejuvenated a little bit, which is obviously a great thing to see. But Staley's had to go
Right.
for sure.
100%.
But also, again, like I was saying, I mean, Justin Herbert was supposed to change everything. Justin Herbert's supposed to be this elite top 5 franchise quarterback who, and now you have him. Now you're gonna have to start paying him.
Yeah.
You know, you already obviously they gave him an extension, right?
Herbert? Yeah.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
already
they
paid.
paid
That
him,
man.
but it doesn't kick in until what, next year,
Next
right?
season.
It starts, so like now things get rough because your roster is already one of the highest paid rosters in the NFL.
Or the following year. One of the two.
Right.
Regardless.
Regardless,
yeah.
you're gonna have to start paying him soon. Like that's the window, obviously, as we all know, when your quarterback's on the rookie deal. And as a whole, they've failed. The Chargers have failed. The players have failed. The coaching has failed. The front office has failed. Justin Herbert has failed.
Yep.
Let's hold him accountable. We want to call him a top 5 quarterback. Let's hold him accountable like a top 5 quarterback. Joe Burrow was losing games like this, we'd be on his ass.
Yeah.
Josh
We were.
Allen was losing games like this, we'd be on his ass.
We were.
Lamar loses games like this, we're on his ass. So let's keep the same energy. Justin Herbert's gets the most excuses of a franchise quarterback I've seen in my life. Justin Herbert.
He missed Keenan on 2 or 3 throws that would have put this game pretty much away at multiple points.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's easy for me to get up here and say all this after this game where he really didn't look like himself. And I'm not oblivious to that. Like, I know Justin Herbert's a better quarterback than the performance he had in this game, but just in general, though, that's my point.
This was a big-time game.
That's my point.
Right.
Not even that he didn't look good, but that actually makes my point more. Like, hey, you didn't look good in this game, but for once, the rest of your team and your defense kept you in the game.
Yes.
And all you had to do was, here's the
Beat
ball,
Justin
Justin Herbert, go out and win the game for us.
Yep.
Or go get a fucking field goal and send us into overtime, and then we could see how it goes from there. And he turned the ball over. That's a problem.
Yeah.
It's a problem. Sitting at 2-3 right now.
And it probably is going to be 2-4 if I'm being realistic.
Right.
That
Playing Kansas City.
that
right?
Chiefs
Yeah.
defense is coming.
Yeah, and
That Chiefs
Kansas City,
defense
too.
is
They are on their
No
way.
joke.
And it's just like, all right, so what? You missed the playoffs this year. I mean, I don't know
What
if they
is-
do miss the playoffs yet,
What's like
but
the rest of their schedule after that? If
I have it up right here.
I'm very
the
curious.
Bears, the Jets, the
Yeah.
Lions, the Packers, the Ravens,
Okay.
It's literally like
Patriots,
good game, bad game.
Broncos,
good
the
ga-
Raiders, the Bills,
Well, first of
the
all,
Broncos, the Chiefs.
you got to beat the Broncos twice.
Yeah.
You have to beat the Raiders again. Those are the simple ones.
Yeah.
Those are your in division games.
The Bears next week. You have to
Oh
to
my
get
God.
that one.
Have
Yeah.
to win the.
Yeah, you have to
Bears.
beat. You
It's
have to
not.
beat the
It's not
Bears.
the.
It's not the best. It's not the
toughest
worst.
schedule, Yeah, it's a
I heard at least 5 what should be guaranteed wins in
right.
there.
But you
So-
know how football goes. They're gonna lose.
Yeah.
They're not gonna win all of those,
No.
and then the ones that we're gonna pencil them in for a loss, they're not gonna lose. Like they should split against the Chiefs,
Yes.
right?
I
Theoretically,
don't
they
even know.
They won't.
theoretically
Likely.
they should. though,
Theoretically, I
like-
guess, yeah.
they
But
get
if
the
I'm
Ch-
betting on it, I might bet
Right.
Chiefs to.
I mean,
twice.
probably in Chargers fashion, they'll beat the Chiefs this week, and then when they play
play
them at
week
home
18.
in the last game of the
When it
season
matters
to
the
clinch
most.
a playoff spot, they'll lose at
Yeah.
home.
In
That's how
Chargers
that's
fashion.
how
Yeah.
that'll go.
in typical
Yep.
Chargers fashion.
Yeah,
sure.
I mean,
Yep.
if they miss the playoffs this year, it is a bad look
Dude.
for everyone.
Well, Staley will.
Right.
He will be can likely either way.
Yeah.
After this season.
Yeah. But if they miss the playoffs, it's a bad look for everyone, including Mr. Herbert. It's that simple.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Speaking on the other side, he looked good. Dak Prescott had a very, very, very good football game.
Yeah.
They only had 20 points, but I felt like this was one of Dak's better honestly, obviously the best performance of the season.
Yeah,
That's
it's not a
far and
question.
away because he hasn't had to throw the ball like this in any other game. But Dak had probably the best game that he's had in quite a while, in my opinion, too. I genuinely think Dak was unreal in this game. And it only, as I said, it only turned into 20 points. But that was also because they could not get the run game going at all either in this one.
Yeah.
There was no semblance of a run game. And it's looked like this consistently with
That's a
Tony
problem.
Pollard.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that Pollard's necessarily the problem, but I said this on on the show last week. I think it is a problem that they don't have another guy that they can rely on to take away the big time in between the tackles.
They should go sign Leonard
I was just going to say that. I was like, they should go get
Absolutely
Fournette,
they
right? Yeah.
Fournette would make a ton of sense for Dallas.
And that's not you. Just to clarify for anyone watching, that's not Matt coming here and saying Tony Pollard's a bad player.
Yes.
Matt's one of
Not
the
even
biggest
close,
Tony
yeah.
Pollard advocates there are. He
100%.
just Tony Pollard's a big play guy. He's not a guy who could handle the full load. There's only a select few guys who could handle the full load.
Yeah.
Yeah, not many could take all of it. Not
Right.
many could take all of it. So he's the type of guy.
You got to be special to take the whole thing, the whole load.
Not
You
just
gotta be
anyone
talented.
gets the whole thing.
You got to
Right.
be really talented. So it's just guys like Tony Pollard with his explosivity and what you love to see out of him is the fact that he is one of the most explosive players in the league. Is when he gets 12 to 15 touches a game, those touches come more frequently where you see he had that 60-yard not touchdown, he got chased down, but that 60-yard catch and run where
Saved his fantasy day,
Yes,
man.
it did,
Oh
big
my
time.
God.
Yeah, I just went to look at his
my
stats. I'm like,
God.
this guy had 17. What'd he score? I was like, no.
No,
But yeah.
he was catching the football.
Yeah,
quite a
yeah,
bit.
yeah.
We know that Tony Pollard is very good at that. But if you could somehow keep Tony Pollard to around 10 to 12 rushing attempts and he's getting 5 receptions a game, I think that's perfect. That was why it worked so well with Zeke. People didn't realize. They thought automatically you take Zeke out of the equation, this guy's getting 20 to 30 touches a game, that efficiency is going to stay at it's not that simple.
Nah.
Shout out LA Knight. It's not that simple. It's just not. So efficiency usually goes down the more touches you get.
Law of averages.
It's not linear. It's not linear. So it needs to be said. They should make the move for Leonard Fournette.
Somebody,
They absolutely should.
Leaner.
I was gonna say
Leaner.
Leo, but I was like, it's not
Leo
Leo.
Fournette.
Playoff Lenny. Go get Playoff Lenny. He'll help you out a ton. He's very similar to Zeke in that regard where he's not going to be efficient on those touches, but God damn it, he'll get the tough yards.
Yeah.
So
I have 2 big takeaways for the Cowboys. 3, actually. So the first one is, like you said, Dak had arguably his best game of the season. And, I mean, the yards aren't that great, but he had the touchdown and he had 7 attempts. This, and everyone on Twitter was saying this isn't really my analysis, I'll say, but like it's obviously something I noticed too. But this seemed like the most comfortable Dak was just keeping that shit
yes,
and running it since his injury. And I mean, we kind of forget that because he's developed so much as a passer over his career, but Dak is a dual threat quarterback.
Yeah.
Like
No, he can
that's
run.
what made Dak such an attractive prospect coming out of the draft at Mississippi State.
yes.
And I mean, 7 carries for 40 yards and a huge touchdown in this game. That changes the whole dynamic of this offense. Like you're alluding to, you want to take some pressure off of Tony Pollard. If you have Dak who could keep it, 7 to 10 times a game and take some carries away from Pollard, that's a huge help.
Yes.
And
So
he can't throw an interception if he runs it.
Right.
So-
And throw an interception if you run the ball, for sure.
These are his first 4 seasons in the NFL. 282 yards, 357, 305, 277. His touchdown numbers 666 and then 3. Jesus Christ, sign of the devil. But that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, and then you see the last 2 seasons prior to this year, 182, 146, and 1 touchdown in each of the 2. That's it. So
One thing, what I'll say is, I do think this is the game you were kind of waiting for to see from Dak. Like this Cowboys offense for years, the Cowboys have been an offense that just scores points, gets yards, and you just haven't seen it this year. CeeDee Lamb had a game that he needed, in my opinion.
Oh
he
my
had what,
God.
7 catches for like
And
100.
it still wasn't enough.
That was
like
really the lock of all
Yeah.
locks.
it was.
Yeah. The other thing about Dak, he threw a dime for like 40-something yards to Gallup
He
between 3 defenders.
That
and Gallup
was a
just dropped it.
ridiculous
That throw
throw.
was unreal. So he's over 300 if he makes that throw.
Yeah.
That might have been the
And 2
throw of the
touchdowns.
season.
Yeah, so
So-
that was going to be my second takeaway, was that Michael Gallup fucking
Michael
stalled.
Gallup is
my
fucking
God.
terrible.
They really need, I mean, shout out to Brandon Cooks, who
Cooks
had,
came alive.
It's crazy. He had 4 receptions for 36 yards and a touchdown. I think he had a carry.
His catches were big,
too.
though.
Yeah, he had 1 carry for 14 yards. He did have big catches, but like, man, if that's your second best receiver, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Man, you're in trouble.
Really
And
did think
they are
he's gonna solve it.
they are missing Dalton Schultz.
They are
big
missing
time.
Dalton Schultz.
One
They have
time.
nothing
Big
percent.
at tight end, and in the red zone, you need you know trust
Yeah.
your big old tight end. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, and then the last takeaway I had for the Cowboys was they really found a fucking gem in Deron Bland.
Yep.
And that's going to be a really scary scenario next year when you have a cornerback trio of Stephon Gilmore, Trayvon Diggs, and Deron Bland.
Yeah.
It's really scary for the
And
league.
D-Law and Micah Parsons,
Yeah.
the best pass rushing
man,
duo
yeah.
in the entire NFL.
Yeah.
It's
No, this was I felt like it was a very complete game for the Cowboys. I feel like everyone did their part besides for Michael Gallup, honestly. Everyone contributed, everyone did their part, and it's definitely a big like momentum booster. You know,
yes.
you just got
100%.
fucking dominated on Sunday Night Football against the 49ers. You could have folded.
Yeah.
Like you could have folded. So it's not about, how hard you get hit. It's about how hard you respond when you do get hit. So
Shout out
Big-
Rocky Balboa.
yes. Yeah, I don't think that's the quote.
It's not exactly, but
Yeah.
the spirits. You got the spirit.
So I
got the message.
do want to just say this real quick. Just to give context on how good Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence are in terms of pass rushing duos. They're both top 10 in pressure percentage, and that doesn't even tell the whole story because in pass rush win rate, DeMarcus Lawrence is currently 3rd in the NFL, and Micah Parsons is currently 7th in the NFL. Yeah,
That'll do
that's
it.
They're
rough.
terrifying.
And especially when you're in a obvious passing situation, such as Herbert being in that situation late in the game, those two are pinning their fucking ears back and getting directly in your face. So, and the way that they move those guys around, you don't know where you have to find them before the play. So, now this Dallas defense is special as well.
Yeah.
It's just the trend of today.
Yeah.
A whole bunch of special defenses in the NFL right now. And yeah, I mean, shout out my guy Dexter Lawrence. I just see him sitting here at number 8 in pass rush win rate. But yeah, it's wild. It is ridiculous.
Yeah.
This team is incredibly talented and could be Super Bowl contenders. Would you say they're top
The Cowboys?
4 or 5?
No. And I predicted the Cowboys to come out of the NFC.
I did as well.
I don't
Unfortunately.
think their offense is going to be able to hang with the big dogs, man.
If they get
I
Leonard
think
Fournette, does it change things or no?
No,
Okay.
I think they need a.
Super Bowl,
It
yeah.
definitely it does like change things
right,
for
but
them.
I'm not saying.
But I think they need a pass catcher, man.
yeah,
I think they need another pass catcher. I don't know.
they're watching.
Go
Amari.
out and get D-Hop, man.
They were watching
That's
Amari Cooper out
exactly
there.
what I was thinking
Go out and go
before.
get D-Hop, man.
Someone's got to go get D-Hop.
Yeah, we're
I
gonna
wouldn't
talk
be
about
surprised
that
if the
later
Chiefs
on
did.
in the show. Actually, I have a segment about that.
Okay.
But
Yeah, the Cowboys.
yeah,
I mean,
go out and get D-Hop,
yeah.
man.
I always say with the Cowboys, it's just they always say it's our year and this and that. All that whole conversation, I got to see it from the Cowboys, and I just like we said, the offense is just not as dynamic as it has been in the past, and I
No.
think, and it's an offensive league. You gotta put up points, you gotta make big time plays to win Super Bowls.
Mike McCarthy ain't cutting it right now. He ain't cutting it. The one big call that I will say, that Dak read option, and Dak sold the shit out of it, might I add.
Well, that was my point. He hasn't. Not only did he sell the shit out of it, but he hasn't fucking kept that shit in a year and a half.
Yeah,
It doesn't even feel like they run read
Yeah.
options anymore.
he
Right.
doesn't. He only scrambles. He has no design runs,
Right.
and
That's what I'm saying. I think they unlocked something with that.
Yes.
I think they saw that
that's
could,
the hope. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just don't
So,
take unnecessary
no.
hits either.
But shout out to them, man. Huge win.
Yeah.
Big win.
Huge
Big
win.
win.
That was my favorite game to watch too this week. By the way,
I
it
agree.
was awesome.
I was very excited. It started off 7-7. Like immediately both teams were scoring. And I was like, wow, this might be a high scoring game. And then they just kind of
wasn't.
Yeah.
slowed down after that. But
yeah, it was really an experience.
We need a banger prime time.
we
game,
do.
man. They're
We
just-
haven't had
they,
one
they,
here.
They just
It's coming.
yeah.
We're due.
Sunday night. The greatest. show
That's
on
got to be the
surf
one. That's got to be the one.
versus the Philadelphia Eagles.
Oh my God.
If one's gonna do it,
And the Eagles are debuting the what's it called? The Kelly Green jerseys.
No
too.
Oh, yeah?
yeah.
Oh my God.
That's
did you
what I
guys
heard.
see who? I forget who it was on Tampa Bay, but someone. It was Tristan Wirfs.
Oh yeah, Penny
Sewell. He was like,
for his
he was like,
jersey,
"Can I
and
get your
he's like,
jersey?" He's like, "Nah,
bro.
not the
This is the
creamsicle."
creamsicle,
Yeah.
you know?
He's like, "I'll send you one, but
my
he goes, I'll send you
God.
one, but you can't have this one."
That's crazy.
I wouldn't
I
give
don't
that
blame
shit
I
him.
wouldn't
away
give that
either.
shit either. Those are
yeah,
fucking
I wouldn't give
tough.
that shit away either. Two of the best tackles in the league, though. Shout out to the two of them.
Yep.
All right, Chris, I'm gonna turn this floor over to you because there's a very special game.
It
And
really was so special.
Typically, we wouldn't talk about a random Commanders-Falcons game in the regular season. There's a lot of games that we're not going to dive deep into here, and this would have been one of them had it not been the Chris Bowl.
But we had a Super Bowl in October. Yeah,
We did. It was the Chris
You've
Bowl.
heard of Christmas in July.
So, Chris, go ahead. Take the floor. It's all yours.
Man, where do I even begin? The Commanders defeated the Falcons 24-16, and honestly, I couldn't be happier because it was a Sam Howell masterclass, man. 14 for 23,
Love it.
151 yards, and 3 touchdowns.
We're not good.
119 passer rating, 119.8.
Dotson had a bad drop,
119
though.
passer.
Dotson
rating.
had a really bad drop.
He did.
Oh,
It would have
yeah.
been even better.
That was bad, bro.
But Sam Howell has quietly been pretty freaking good.
Solid.
Hasn't been elite, but again, this was just his 7th start.
Yep.
I think he's been, as a Commander fan, I think he's been everything you could have wanted and more out of the quarterback position.
I agree, yeah.
And the Commanders' defense came alive. They came alive. They needed to come alive. I mean, Cameron Curl and Cody Barton combined for 25 tackles,
Yeah, they played a
Which
mad
is-
good
That's
quarterback.
which is pretty nuts. Kendall
Getting
Fuller had a pick in this one. My boy Benjamin St. Juste had a pick in this one. And Chase Young has quietly been really freaking good this year.
Oh, he's been great.
He's been one of the best.
He's been one of the best. The only gripe with Mr. Chase Young is that he doesn't finish plays, if that makes sense.
Yes. Bingo.
He doesn't finish plays. He doesn't have the sack numbers, but I mean, he's 5th amongst edge rushers in total pressures at 31 this year. Only people ahead of him are Max Crosby, Michael Parsons, Aiden Hutchinson, and Bryce Huff. The best of the best.
Yeah. To do
And
you.
he only has 4 sacks to show for it, but 20.6 win rate. He's been really, really freaking good. I hope they don't trade him. I really hope they don't trade him, but
You saw 20.6? Well, that might have just been in that game, was it?
no, this is all year.
Because over the season, I have here pass rush win percentage is 28.8 for Chase Young, which is 2nd in the NFL.
Who's number 1?
Myles Garrett,
At what?
31.3. Because I have Chase at 28.8 here, which is even more ridiculous.
He's really good.
Yeah.
You know what I wonder? Is that so? Do you have the position to just edge rushers while you're looking at that?
Yes. Well, no, I have it in all of them.
All
but I
positions?
put minimum pass rush snaps.
So I wonder if
I put minimum
those
pass
are
rush.
including
When he moves inside.
when he's not. Yeah, when he's not.
an edge.
No, it didn't change anything for me. That's so strange that
That is
yours is
strange.
different. But anyway, Chase Young's been fucking great. I have a stat that I wanted to mention on the pod. Let me see if I could freaking find it, man.
But yeah, no, Chase is ridiculous.
I think I
Future
think-
Giant, by the way.
man.
God, I hope so. That'd be amazing.
Jartavius Martin, Quan Martin, the rookie they drafted in the 2nd round, he actually played in this game, and he
did.
actually played. He only played, I think, 9
7 snaps, I think. Yeah.
but he graded out pretty sick on PFF, and he actually had a really impactful game. And they used him all over the field. He was in the box, he was in the slot, he was out deep. And I liked Quan Martin's tape coming out. I thought he was a cool pick. Obviously, I didn't think they really needed him because they have one of the best safety duos in the NFL already with Curl and Forrest back there. But, I mean, if they could integrate him to be kind of that Swiss Army nickel guy who could play all over the field.
His first game of the season.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
it was his
that's-
first
that's
reps of
something.
the entire season, 2nd round pick. The Commanders, if he doesn't hit and Forbes doesn't hit, this might actually go down as one of the worst draft classes of all time history.
Jesus.
Because everyone else hasn't seen the field yet. Forbes saw the field and is now riding the bench.
He's got torched.
Right,
that
he got
poor
benched.
Oh
guy.
my God, he got
And now
fucking
Quan
torched,
Martin's
bro.
finally
That
getting
poor-
his chance.
He never
but-
stood a chance against.
But I
the
don't
Browns, but-
actually I don't know if I've seen a team have a full draft that hasn't contributed at all in year one like this. And obviously it's only year one. These guys have long careers to contribute, but in terms of just what they've done year one, I don't know if I've ever seen a team have no one contribute in year one. It's pretty crazy. But the Commanders, this was just a game that you needed to win. It was a game you needed to win. And I'll really just flip it over to the Falcons side of things. The Falcons, it's not Desmond Ritter's fault. I know Desmond Ridder, the counting stats don't look good. What do you have in this game?
Dude, he threw the ball 47 times.
Right.
Which, yes.
Why is he
3
throwing
picks
the ball?
regardless.
Yeah, 3 picks.
And the decisions were not good.
No, for sure. But this is a Falcons team that he wasn't supposed to be throwing the ball
47
times.
That's unreal.
I don't know why he was doing that. That's my other question.
Threw it 18 week 1.
Oh, my God.
5 weeks later.
I mean, I'm looking at it right now. The Falcons rank 20th in the NFL in rushing EPA at a minus .123. That's really not good.
But in 5 weeks, Arthur Smith goes from pounding the ball, even when we're losing, we're gonna run the shit out of the ball, and now he's airing it like.
Yes.
And it's just so strange.
Yeah.
Arthur Smith has not been scheming these boys up to win games.
No, they haven't.
I mean, like, for fantasy, like, it's awesome. Kyle Pitts and Drake London are, having games. But in terms of real-life football, this isn't what this team wants. This isn't what their identity is supposed to be. And it starts with the guys up front. The O-line just, for an O-line that we thought was going to be great, they just really haven't been
A lot
great.
of money invested into that O-line, right?
Right.
There
They
is.
do have a good amount.
Highest paid guard in the NFL,
Yeah.
I believe. Yeah, highest paid right tackle, I think, as well, or gonna be soon enough. And Caleb McGarry. Yeah, it's ugly. It's not good. It frustrates me that Bijan Robinson, while he is involved, doesn't feel involved. They have to stop pulling this man for Tyler Algier, like, consistently. I understand Algier has a role on this team, and that's fine, but it needs to be a 70-30 split in favor of Bijan Robinson. And I do love the fact that they split Bijan out wide a lot, have Algier in the backfield. I think that's great, and it utilizes his full skill set. But they also force the ball to him a lot on those passes.
Yeah.
You could use him as a decoy. Doesn't need to go to him.
And not even just that, the identity has to be ground and pound.
Yes, 100%.
Like, you use Tyler Algier because he's a damn good player.
Yeah.
He fucking
Yes,
ran for
sure.
1,000 yards last year, but stop getting cute with Bijan. I get it. Like, Bijan's a fun new toy. You want to just try him out.
Show
and
him to everybody. Yeah.
Do we forget what he did in college?
You want to give it to him in a bunch of different positions.
Yes. No, I do. I definitely do. He's on my dynasty team. I'm with you.
You want to give it to him in a bunch of different positions. So
doubling down is insane.
they're
Doubling down is
playing with their new
wild.
toy, and they're trying to get it in a bunch of different positions, but just ground and pound. Go back to your identity. Find an identity.
Just pound him into the ground.
Real simple. Pound him.
Pound him into the
Find
ground.
Find an identity. I mean, this was just an awesome game for me as a fan, though. I really enjoyed watching this. Obviously, this was one of the games that I watched back the condensed
I don't
version
think
of.
anyone was more excited on the planet was
This
more
was
excited
the
to watch
Shrine
this
Bowl,
game.
bro. This was my shit.
I did
My
not
shit.
watch this game back.
And I mean, out of all of it, Sam Howell came out victorious. Come on, man. I couldn't have been three passes.
Three
touchdowns,
tuds, no picks. Yeah, you
Come
can't complain.
on.
I do
Only
gotta
gr-
say, smart for giving Drake London the ball
Yeah.
on Atlanta's part.
Kyle
but
Pitts scored. I don't have him anywhere in fantasy, but like I wish I did just because
Kyle
just to
Pitts,
see
I
him.
picked him up in the waivers in my 10-man league.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I mean,
I didn't start him, though.
I don't know how consistent this is gonna be.
No.
It's not.
I
sustainable.
should expect, law of averages, all that fun stuff. They should be able to get the game going on the ground a little bit as the season progresses.
Arthur
more.
Smith, it feels like he's trying to see what's going to work for him because
Yeah.
for whatever reason he decided.
I think he's nervous.
Right,
I
yeah.
think he knows that his job's on life support,
right.
Yep.
which it sucks. It sucks, but I think it's very clear in a lot of his decisions and play calling that he's trying to do too much because
Yeah.
he knows the job's on life support, which sucks. It sucks for him and it sucks for the team.
Yeah, but
they're turning against him. The fan base is turning against
Yes,
Oh,
it
yeah.
is. It is. It's bad.
For sure.
There should be some level of security there, especially when they overperformed last year. Even though they weren't great, they still overperformed. The fact that they were winning some games with Marcus Mariota at quarterback is ridiculous. But also, your whole identity coming into the year was pound the rock, be the best rushing football team in the NFL, and you're not that. You're not even close to that at the current moment. So, of course, when your identity as a coach is that, and you're not that, not even remotely close to it, there's going to be problems.
Yeah.
And people are going to turn against you.
Yeah.
The next 4 are Tampa Bay, Tennessee, Minnesota, Arizona.
All winnable
So,
games.
Yeah, they could totally
Yeah.
All
flip the
winnable
script.
games.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay looked very human this week. I mean, not like they were playing out of this league
I think
football.
every team looks human.
Well, they look very beatable for a team like for the Atlanta Falcons. I mean, get back to your identity, please. Just
It worked. They what they start the season? Like the first 3 games?
2-1,
2-1? Yeah, it worked. It
2-1.
worked.
Yeah, and get back to that, please. Like, give out if that means giving Algier 12 to 15 carries, but Bijan 18 of them, another 18. Run the ball 35 times if that's what you want to do. If it's gonna work, you're good.
Do not throw it 35 times.
No.
That's
And
the moral of
definitely
the
not
story.
40 something.
Yeah, not 47 either.
So,
Jesus Christ.
but yeah, that's the Chris Bowl. That's the Chris Bowl.
Yeah. The
All right.
rest of the shit, I think we could speed run.
Yes, that's what I was about to say. All right, Ravens Titans. Excuse me. For Lamar having as much, like I should say the complete opposite. Not that much statistical production. He's been phenomenal this year.
Yeah.
Lamar's been amazing.
As a pocket passer, especially,
Oh
we know
my
it's going to be
God.
there for
Lamar,
him,
you
but-
got to watch the games. Lamar,
Yes.
it's just not showing up in the stat sheet for
Yeah.
him. And I think that's another law of averages
He-
thing that'll even out as the season goes
Agreed.
on. If
He
he
had-
keeps up if he keeps up this level of play, then I think the stats will even out for him.
He had one throw in the first quarter where he had a rusher, whoever, coming at him
Oh
with his
my
arms
God.
up, sidearm
Drop the arm angle.
for a first down, and that's like Lamar. No one thinks more. I mean, I always loved Lamar, but people are hating on him because he can't apparently make plays like that. But
But
man, he
we
is-
also say that he wasn't always capable of making these
right,
plays.
yeah.
Lamar is so comfortable in the pocket now. Like
Yeah.
it's a complete difference to what we saw early in his career when obviously like he's always been a talented runner, still an incredibly talented runner, but he looks so comfortable staying in that pocket that he doesn't have to run off. He doesn't need to bail on it immediately. He's looking to get the ball to his receivers who aren't catching the football most
Yeah.
of the time. But
what I was
regardless,
gonna
he's looking to get the ball to his receivers, and he looks great doing it. He's incredibly accurate now. One of the best passers in the entire NFL. I can say that, and I will say that he's one of the best passers in the entire league, which is a testament to how much work he's put in.
One other thing about the Ravens is we've been talking about these great defenses. It feels like they always have a great defense, but one guy I think is going to go under the radar for Defensive Player of the Year is Roquan Smith.
Yep.
He is a monster. He had this play at the end of the game right before the 2-minute warning. Okonkwo, the tight end for the
Chig,
he catches it. He falls and Roquan just hovers over him, waits for him to get up, tackles him, and because of that, they couldn't get a playoff before the 2-minute warning. Like that's a hard decision to make in the heat of the moment, game on the line. You know,
I think he was also thinking that maybe he was going to be able to get a strip
that's possible. Yeah,
there too. But yeah, both. No, he's incredibly intelligent.
yeah, he is.
That's another great linebacker duo over there, Roquan and Patrick Queen. When they're both healthy, they're
I don't think Patrick
ball-
Queen has missed a game. He hasn't missed a game.
No, but I'm just saying in
Yeah.
general, like when
No, I'm
they
just saying
play
like that's
together-
just impressive. Like
Um,
for any NFL player to not miss a game in
yeah,
multiple. You know?
yeah. Patrick Queen he benefited a lot from them getting Roquan
Right.
last.
Yeah.
He benefited big time because now you have a guy that you can absolutely rely on,
Mhm.
can play different roles, and allows Patrick Queen to comfortably play whatever role best suits him. So that's a big time thing for the Ravens too. They have a lot of versatile pieces over there. A lot of versatile
Versus
pieces.
boy
over
Kyle Hamilton.
Yes.
Yeah. Dog.
Kyle Hamilton's
No,
special.
yeah, they're balling, man. Tied in the league lead
Shout
for
out to
sacks
Davion
on the
Clowney.
season, 24 sacks. Like you
He is
mentioned
that-
earlier, Tom, they're a bit behind the Browns in terms of yards allowed, but they're second in the league in yards allowed per total. Second in yards per play. You know, they're really doing their thing.
All those stats I listed off. Second place was pretty much only the Cowboys or the Ravens.
Yeah, no,
So,
they're really doing their thing. They're a complete team. They're gonna keep flying under the radar because it seems like they're just not. It's weird. They're just not doing it like for the full game type of thing, and they're getting like kind of unlucky, like last week with the drops and stuff like that. So like they realistically should have smoked the Titans.
Yeah.
They should have beat them bad, but they didn't.
I think under the radar is kind of how they like it too.
Yeah.
As popular and flashy as Lamar is, he's fine with taking criticism and
yeah. I mean, everyone talks about the Browns, the Niners, the Jets, the Cowboys. No one's talking about
They're
the
right
Ravens
up there,
defense. They're really right up there. You can make a legit argument the Ravens have the best defense in the NFL.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of numbers and stats and all that you could use to make that argument.
That would back it up. And then you could just talk about the players. And the players itself are great as well. So I think, and I mean, look, they were my Super Bowl pick. I said they'd be in the Super Bowl, and I'm pretty sure I picked them to win it. So I'm fully in on this team. I will put all my chips on this team. I genuinely do believe this is a Super Bowl caliber team when these receivers start to figure it out, which I think they will as the season progresses.
Yeah, they should only get better as the season goes on, and you know, implementing a new system there with Todd Monken
and getting healthy.
Right, they should really only get better as the season goes on. So they're in good shape.
On the other side of things, this one's pretty quick. Titans suck.
They're a disaster.
They're bad. They're not a good football team.
Their quarterback situation is fucked.
It's
Tannehill's gone after this year, right? He's on expired.
Well, he's 100% gone no matter what.
Well, yeah, no matter what happens, but
have fun, buddy. He's 100% gone no matter what. I'd like to assume. But outside of that, Malik Willis doesn't inspire too much confidence in me.
Not at all.
And Mayo boy definitely don't inspire too much confidence in me either.
God, yeah, no.
So, I think Will Levis should get a chance this season, though. He definitely should. You got to see what you have in him.
Yeah.
You have to see what you have in him. Especially when you drafted. It wasn't like you drafted him with a first-round pick, but a second, and with a guy like him, with all the physical tools in the world to be a successful quarterback in the NFL, you have to at least see what you have in him. You'll likely have to trade Hop, too. Like,
it
as
just
much
got
as I
him.
hate to say it, you likely have to
They
trade
just
Hop.
got him.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, but if you could potentially get a third-round pick for him, it's worth it.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, I mean, that's really all I have to say about the Titans. They're not a good football
They're
team.
just bad.
Definitely not a good football
Last time the Ravens played in London, they lost to the Jags in 2017 by 37. That was Saxonville, right? 2017?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
by
the Calais
37.
Campbell days. Yeah.
37.
Wow. Jalen Ramsey back in the day.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, Vikings-Bears.
I
don't have much to
nothing.
say.
I have nothing on this
The
team.
Vikings
They're two
missed-
dog shit team.
The Vikings missed Justin Jefferson, for sure.
Yeah.
And the Bears are going to be starting Tyson Bagent.
Does he come
quarterback.
back, Justin? Like, do you think he just?
I think he'll be fine. It's a fractured finger, I think it was.
Yeah, but like, yeah, I don't know.
Is it
You
on the
think
throwing hand? It has to be. It has to be
Justin
because
Jefferson doesn't throw the ball.
you have.
I said Jefferson. You realize, right?
I thought you said Fields.
No, I was like, what?
Oh, Jefferson. What's their upcoming schedule? That's very important
It
here.
is very important.
But I think Jefferson's the type of player that they're going to bring him back no matter what. But their upcoming schedule is
Fat fingering.
definitely important.
Yeah.
And it's an ankle injury, I'm pretty
San
sure.
Fran, Green Bay, Atlanta, New Orleans.
3 of those are winnable.
Yeah.
3 of those are winnable. Yeah, I think he does end up coming back. If they have less than 7 losses or 7 losses or fewer, he'll likely come back.
If they have one win, he's requesting a trade. But
It'll be rough. It'll be rough.
only way I could see is if Kirk gets traded. Then maybe he's like, fuck this. What am I doing here?
Yeah,
You know?
exactly. And then I thought you were talking about Justin Fields before because he
no.
also got injured.
Yeah.
I think it was a fractured finger. I'm not sure if it was on his throwing hand or not. I don't remember what it was. regardless, I don't think he's playing this upcoming week. It'll be Tyson Bagent.
He's doubtful.
Are they playing the Thursday night game? No, they're not. They just played a Thursday night game. But regardless, he's gonna be out for a game, I assume, and they'll lose because they seemingly always lose
To the Raiders.
and it's only gonna make it worse with Tyson Bagent at quarterback now. But yeah, I mean, both teams are not good.
Yeah. Anything on the Vikings Bears, Chris?
Not a single thing.
Cool.
Saints Texans, Saints suck. What the fuck? Like
Derek
the
Carr
NFC South was yours
threw
to
that
take
rock
now.
50 times, man.
What happened?
Derek Carr threw the rock 50 times.
Which also doesn't make sense because it was a close game.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know. So, I called it, by the way.
Stroud's pick. That was the first thing I thought of when I saw it.
Called it. You texted in the group chat.
Yeah, I
You
did.
go,
I texted both of you.
So he called it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sound like LeBron when I say this, and I said it in the chat as well. I honestly was going to give a number prediction for which pass I think he was gonna throw it on, and I think I said it was 194. I didn't say it, but I was going to, and it turned out to be 191. I think so. It would have been close, but I didn't call it, so I'm not LeBron. I'm not going to pull LeBron here.
LeBron didn't call him either. Don't worry.
But he always says, like,
Yeah.
I knew that was
Yeah.
going to happen. But yeah,
I don't have much to take away from this game, really.
like nothing
No.
to take away from the
Texans,
unfortunately.
shout out to them. Shout out to Nico Collins.
They keep finding ways to win football games right now,
Mhm.
actually.
They're still going to be a fun team to watch.
They are,
Yeah.
absolutely. But I think some turnover regression is bound to happen for
course.
CJ, especially as a rookie. He's about to have a stretch where he's going to turn the ball over a little bit. I see that coming. All right, next up, Bengals Seahawks. I said coming into the week, this
Big
was a
win for the
must-win
Bengals,
game for
yeah.
the Bengals, and they went ahead and won it. The defense played phenomenal. Geno Smith has not looked good. The last few games.
I know the Shield is out there screaming right now.
What happened?
I know the Shield is somewhere out there
And
screaming.
I can
right
tell
now.
you right now, Dean Wagner is out there screaming from the top of his lungs, I fucking told you so. But I think
Yeah.
Geno will be fine. But it has not been good at all for pretty much the entirety of this season, which is a bit of a problem if I'm the Seahawks. Their defense is good. DK's been banged up too.
Yeah.
DK just bangs people up too.
Oh,
You see, who was it that he fucking threw? He just does that shit for no reason. Like
I think it was Cam Taylor
he
Britt.
yeah,
was Cam
he is
Taylor
not
Britt.
hard to provoke.
Bro,
No.
he sounds like such a nice guy
Yeah,
off the field. But when he's on the field, he just likes tossing people when they're not looking.
I think he wakes up before game day and he's like, I look like this, and I'm gonna show people why. Like, I'm
Oh
gonna
my
show people why I
God.
bench 350.
Just so stupid. It's so dumb. Like, it's so unnecessary.
Yeah,
But, yeah, the Seahawks, man, not looking too hot.
No.
no,
I think they'll be all right. I think their defense is legit.
It is.
I think Kem Walker's having a really, really good season,
Yeah.
which is cool. Take my victory lap on that one. 'cause
JSN
I
will
said
figure it out, too.
I said draft
JSN
Kenneth
will get
Walker in
involved.
fantasy.
You did.
Jason got a little bit more. He's gotten more involved as the weeks
Yeah.
have gone on.
it's a rookie receiver. It's
I'm not really too concerned about the Seahawks. I think Geno will be all right.
hmm
For the Bengals, like you said, their defense really had a good game. Joe Burrow didn't look great in this one, but
He's moving better.
did enough to get the job done. So shout out to them.
He had one play that he, by no chance, would have even attempted earlier in the year where he literally, like, evaded, like, 4 guys on a sack and started running around for his life. Joe Burrow wouldn't have done that earlier in the year. So he's starting to get healthy, which is a good thing to see.
Yeah, Jamar was 6 for 80. I just looked, 13 targets. I mean, they're trying to get back to form. I'll say.
Yeah. I expect T. Higgins to figure it out soon as he gets healthier as well. The Bengals will be fine. And this was a win. So you just got to
They
find
needed
ways.
it. They win.
You just got to find
Going
ways.
to the bye week, they played San Fran coming out rough, but yeah, they needed a win. They got it.
All right, next up. Here we go. Dolphins Panthers started out 14-0, and
Dude,
the
I
first
saw
thing
that.
I thought about was you, Chris.
Saying
'cause
it's
you
a trap
said,
game. Yeah.
"Oh, they might lose this one." I want to say it, but I'm not going to say it. They went up 14-0, and I was like, "Holy shit, Chris is about to be like right." He didn't stand on it, but he said it. And then the Dolphins took over from that point forward, and Tyreek Hill is the greatest player.
Took
of all
over is
time.
putting it mildly.
Yeah.
They dominated.
Yeah, that's about
Greatest
all
show
that
on
we
surf,
said
baby.
about that. I mean, we've talked ad nauseum about Bryce Young. I'm
Dude,
not gonna get into that.
Adam Thielen, man.
Shout out to Adam.
Shout out to Adam Thielen. He is a baller.
He was supposed to be washed.
Yeah, whoever has him
33
in
years old.
fantasy is hype.
Just plays the right way.
He really does.
He really does, though. Like
He
it's
really does play the right way.
Oh,
No, you're
man.
right.
Such a technician.
he's your typical
He's a Bill
unseasoned
Belichick
wide
guy.
receiver.
Gritty too.
He's a Bill Belichick.
Gritty.
Just
Yeah,
has a
he's
nose
tough.
for the rock, man.
Yeah.
Really great at catching the ball in traffic too. He just
Though
plays
ironic,
everywhere.
everything we're saying is 100% true. Like he is balling
Yes,
out.
Yes, yeah,
He is
no,
absolutely
he's
balling
phenomenal. He is phenomenal. Adam Thielen's honestly, he is a young quarterback's best friend.
Yeah.
He's a young quarterback's best friend. So, shout out to Adam Thielen. You were supposed to be washed, and here you are making plays.
The bright spot of the Panthers, who just had the #1 pick in the draft. Like,
Yeah.
like, think about that. 33-year-old receiver that no one wanted.
All right, well here we go. Jacksonville blew the doors off the Colts in this one. 37-20 final score.
off.
Blew the
I
doors
like that.
off. Yeah,
I like
yeah.
that.
Kicked the doors in. Whatever expression. you
Fucking
wanna
killed them.
use. It's a little more violence than I was going for, but
The Jags
yeah.
are like, they're good, man. I don't know. I honestly didn't read too much about Trevor's injury, so I don't know how much time he's gonna miss. I don't think he's playing next week.
boys, it's a Thursday night football game
oh, so
tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, right.
I don't want him
No.
to play, in my personal opinion. So I actually mentioned it to Chris. I need a dynasty football quarterback for this week because Trevor's hurt, and I definitely need a trade for one. So if any of you guys in our dynasty league somehow come across this before tomorrow night, please make a trade with me. I need one. I'm gonna beat Trincali. But yeah, no, that needs to be taken care of. Do not play Trevor this week. Give him the extended rest, in my personal opinion, and go from there. As for the Colts, so unfortunate.
The Minshew did not mania.
No. Jags defense is good.
Jags
They
defense
lead the
defense,
NFL
very
in
good.
takeaways.
Yes.
Yes, they do.
Very, very
Which
15 takeaways.
regression will likely come at some point, but
Yeah. No, I like this defense, man. I mean, Josh Allen under the radar, having
God.
a great season. You know, you have these guys in the secondary: Andre Cisco, Darius Williams, Tyson Campbell. These guys are all balling out. No, they're really. And then you have a Lucan in the middle. Like I said before, if you have that guy in the middle who could, be the leader of
Tackle.
your defense and be able to tackle, Lucan, I'm pretty sure he's third in the NFL in tackles right now.
He's
Led the league
in
the past
tackles,
2
yeah.
years. Yeah. No, they're a legit defense. Like they're not, one
Yeah.
of the best, but like they're a top 10 defense easily.
yeah, for
In
sure.
another year where so many teams aren't having historically good seasons on defense, they're probably
We'd
a
be
top
talking
five
more
defense,
about
maybe
them.
one of the
for
best.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For
Um,
sure.
Especially on a team who has all the offensive firepower. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure I said this last week. Their defense is just going to continue to fly under the radar.
And ETN has been
Oh
special.
man,
Every bit of special.
drafted
that
Najee
they
Harris over him,
drafted
man.
that motherfucker to be. Like that's crazy. He's been insane. Big shout out to Travis Etienne, another guy on my dynasty team. I love that man.
On the other side, Richardson out done for the season. That sucks, man. I think they're like, not that it's the wrong decision or anything. I think they're just having PTSD of Andrew Luck. Like they're just so
They're being extra
terrified
cautious
of
yeah.
how they
As
handled
should
that
be.
situation. Yeah, of course. I'd rather that than the latter.
He's going for surgery.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate as hell, man.
Yeah.
Don't like to see that.
Yeah.
It's on
Yeah.
his throwing shoulder, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Um,
God. And he was playing well.
The thing is with Richardson is, the biggest thing he needs is reps,
Yes.
and he's obviously not going to get that. He has all the natural tools. We know this. He just needs to be in the game more to elevate as a
Yeah.
quarterback. So it really sucks.
I think I saw over his last like 3 or 4 years of football in totality, he's thrown like 200 less pass attempts than Patrick Mahomes did last season.
Wow,
Pretty crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
that's insane.
So that's just to give you guys context on how little football Anthony Richardson has really played. All right, next up, I'm actually not even going to want to talk about this one. I'm going to say the score and I'm going to move forward. Raiders beat the Patriots 21-17.
Woohoo! Yo, the only thing I want to talk about, Jabril Peppers laid Devontae
Yes.
out. That was crazy.
He smacked them.
So
Yeah.
You know what's crazy? I came on here and I said, yo, like, this is it. The Patriots are done. I'm taking the Raiders. Then Sunday morning, I said to Joe Cruz at work, I said, who are we picking for the survivor pool? He's like, I don't know. I was like, I think I want to pick the Texans. Like, I we have 2 weeks left with the buyback. I don't care if I have to drop another 50. Like, I'm going to buy back regardless. Let me get a shitty team out of the way. Like, let me not use a good team. He was like, nah, bro, don't take the Texans. I was like, then who the fuck am I going to take? He's like, I don't know. I was like, all right. 12:50 rolls around. We haven't emailed this dude our pick. I'm like, yo, like, who are we taking? He's like, I don't know. I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. There's no way the Patriots lose, right? So I picked the fucking Patriots in their survivor pool, even though I got on this podcast and said the Raiders are going to beat them. Like an idiot. Pretty foolish of me.
Trust your gut, man.
Yeah.
Trust your
So now I have to buy back. And if I just took the Texans, like I said originally, I wouldn't have had to buy back. But I don't have any takeaways from this game. The Patriots, it's over.
Yeah. It's all over.
Goodbye, Mac Jones. Get that fucking start someone else. It's over for Mac Jones. Sorry.
Yeah, he has not been
Also
good.
Vista.
As much as I want to blame it on the...
You know who which quarterback would you rather have based on their stats in October? Player A has 0 passing touchdowns. Player B has 1 passing touchdown.
I'm going to take the guy with 1 passing touchdown.
I guess I kind of have to take the guy with 1 passing touchdown.
Can't wait for
Player A is Mac Jones. Player B is...
Mike White.
No. He might, though.
Oh, no, because that was in... Whatever, go ahead.
Player B is Derrick Henry.
Oh, my God. Yeah. Yep.
I would rather have Derrick Henry on my team than Mac Jones. That's for sure.
Well, on your team,
team, at quarterback.
I would rather have Derrick Henry playing the
red zone?
Wildcat for the entirety of the game
In
than
the
playing
in
the
the
Mac
red zone.
Jones.
Martians have the death beam pointed
it's
at
over,
Earth.
man. It's
Take
over.
Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
Bro, that one throw that Mac tried to make to Hunter Henry on the run, and he fucking sailed it 20 yards over
Oh
this
my
man's
God,
head.
yeah. Hunter Henry was wide open.
Holy
he just completely threw it to the other team.
That was so bad. I was watching Red Zone, and I'm like, there ain't no
that
fucking way.
That was bad.
He
dude.
just missed him that bad. All right. Anyways, 2 more games here. The Lions and the Bucks. We've talked a lot about the Lions. The Lions beat the Bucks 20-6. I don't feel like we have to go over the Lions again. They're a great
Nothing we don't
football
know.
team.
Yeah.
Jared Goff. All right, I'm gonna throw something out there. Should be in the MVP conversation.
We're gonna do our MVP picks. He's definitely up there.
Outside of that, the Bucks, Mike Evans has come down with the dropsies. Just throwing that out there.
Outside the end zone, he kind of does like that.
He
it
does.
happens,
He does. Yeah. Who was? I told you this week in Dynasty to take a certain player out of your lineup. He was this close to catching 2 bomb touchdowns.
I know.
This close to catching 2 bomb touchdowns.
I know. I have him in the 32-man league too. I was really upset.
Oh my God.
My boy Trey Palmer. Shout out to him.
So Baker missed him twice.
Yeah.
Wide open. It was bad.
Butt ass naked. Booty hole
He
up.
also had a few batted at the line. One of them got picked off. It was a rough game for Baker.
Yeah. I don't really.
One thing, I love watching Baker Mayfield play football because he just has the most confidence. He will sling that rock, miss his receiver by 30 yards, and he will do it again.
Yeah.
And he truly believes he's throwing a touchdown every time.
Every time.
Shout out to the Lions, man. Took care of business, dude.
Yeah, we talked
Every
about
time
that.
you
They're
think
legit,
they're
bro.
going to slip up, they aren't. They're not Lionsing anymore.
And Jared Goff,
they're
needs his
roaring.
damn respect.
Yeah,
He's been one of the most
with-
underrated quarterbacks in the league for.
Yeah, I mean, even with
long
Monty
time.
going out in this game, still able to get it done. Respect.
Amon-Ra needs to be spoken about as one of the best receivers in the
7-11,
league,
brother.
Consistently, bro. And then Josh Reynolds, Jamison Williams caught a bomb touchdown in this game that he looked over both shoulders, I feel like 5 times, and then turned around and it was placed in the perfect spot. Jared Goff, man, shout out to Jared Goff, bro, because typically Jared Goff doesn't perform in the road games. He showed up in this one. So, speaking of
the last thing is him and Stafford are the highest rated quarterbacks in the NFC according to PFF.
There it is.
Which is
Neither
interesting.
team's losing.
Yeah.
Neither team is losing that trade. All right. moving on to that other guy that you said, Matthew Stafford and the Los Angeles Rams. They beat the Arizona Cardinals pretty handily in this one, 26-9. It was close for a little while, and I was getting a little scared for the Rams because I was like, bro, you can't.
They were my survival
You
pool pick.
cannot
Yeah.
lose this one. You cannot lose this one. They didn't. They dominated. This defense is a lot better than expected, too. And I must say, a lot of these young guys that nobody thought would be productive players, and I said coming into the season that I just thought that the Rams figured this stuff out. They managed to make players better than they actually should be. And they did. They did it again. Their defense has been effective this year, and there's players that are playing well above their heads. So, big shout out to the Rams. They're going to be in playoff contention for the entirety of the season, it seems. And I'm happy that I said that coming into the year. So I'm very happy that I called it with the Rams. All right. Chris, do you have anything to say about this game?
Not a single thing.
Cooper Kupp is him. That's about it.
He's back.
Yeah, him and
He's
Puka are
back,
lethal.
baby. Yeah,
Yeah.
Puka had a quiet game.
Yeah.
For the first time.
Yeah.
So,
All right. NFL MVP ladder post week 6. So at number 3, I've Brock Purdy in there still. I know he had a bad week this past week, but he was number 1 last week. I'm going to keep him in that top 3. At number 2, has to be the man out there in Detroit. Has to be Jared Goff. He's taking care of the ball and he's winning games and he has the stats to back it up. And number 1, I think it should be consensus. It's Tua. There's really no one who has the stats that Tua does right now. He's kind of running away with everything. So, yeah.
So, at number 3, I have Josh Allen. Actually, let me change that. At number 3, I have Jared Goff. At number 2, I have Tyreek Hill in the MVP race right now. At number 1, it sucks that I can't put Tyreek at number 1, but when you're the quarterback of said receiver, that means your numbers are probably pretty crazy as well. And they are, and the Dolphins are still winning games. It's Tua Tagovailoa at number 1.
I really wanted to. I actually forgot to do this, but I've been looking throughout the show, so it's fine. I really wanted to put McCaffrey back in there because he's just so important to that team. But after missing the game, I can't put him in there. But
The last 2 weeks have been a little tough.
Yeah. But
numbers wise,
at number 3, I'm gonna put Jared Goff. Lions are killing it, and he is killing it as per usual. Flying under the radar for sure, but he's gonna get the respect he deserves. Number 2, best quarterback on the earth, Patrick Mahomes. In my opinion, it's just that simple. He's Patrick Mahomes leading the Chiefs.
when in doubt,
What hasn't been said about Patrick Mahomes?
when in
you know
doubt,
what I mean?
I guess go Mahomes.
Right.
But it's just all the numbers, and it's not his fault.
Yeah.
His receivers aren't good, but all the numbers, his yards per attempt, his average depth of target for receivers and stuff, he's not pushing it downfield. They're not, and they can't right now because they don't have that. They just acquired Mecole Hardman, though.
Yeah.
Just acquired. But he doesn't move the needle for me either.
No.
Go get Hop, in my opinion.
God.
Go get Hop. I just couldn't put Mahomes in the conversation or even in my top 5 if I would go down that far. Because of the fact that it's been Pacheco and it's been a great defense.
Yeah.
And obviously Kelsey needs to get credit. Mahomes to Kelsey is just the greatest thing of all time. But yeah, I don't know. That's interesting. But when in doubt, go Mahomes.
Yeah.
When in doubt, go Mahomes.
And number 1 is easily Tua Tagovailoa. What's
Word.
understood doesn't need to be said.
Doesn't
Yeah.
need to be said.
Word. Are we doing start sits?
If you guys have, I'll come up with something.
I don't have. I'll come up with it. Fuck this. We'll do it.
Do
We'll
Saturday.
do
I'll do
start
Saturday.
sits
I'm not-
Saturday.
I'm sorry to the Thursday games.
Yeah, I'm not starting
Yeah.
anybody.
Alright.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
I have one thing, and then I want to wrap this up because I think we're tired.
We are.
Buy or sell NFL trade deadline edition. So we have the NFL trade deadline coming up October 31st, if I'm not
It
mistaken.
is indeed Halloween.
So I'm gonna
Getting
say
spooky.
I'm gonna say a few guys, and you guys let me know if you're buying or selling, the fact that they're going to get traded. Pretty simple.
Okay.
So the first two, they're down there in Nashville, Tennessee Titans. We'll start with DeAndre Hopkins. Do buy or sell that DeAndre Hopkins will be traded?
I think he should be, but they just got him. So that's the thing that's like, are they giving up on their season already?
I buy it. They got to rebuild, and I think they know it now.
Yeah, I'm gonna buy it. I think they should do it. I don't know that they will, but for that sake, I'll say I'll buy as well.
So will it become a full-on fire sale? Buy or sell, Derrick Henry gets traded at the trade deadline.
I sell it. Derrick Henry is one of those guys that they will keep him in Tennessee until he wants to walk. He's one of those lifer type guys, I think. And they'll do right by him. They will keep him in Tennessee until he wants to walk. Unless he asks for a trade.
Yeah.
Which I could definitely see happening. But yeah, I sell that they trade Derrick Henry.
Yeah, I'm gonna sell also.
Next up, Brian Burns.
Man.
Okay. There's a few teams that could absolutely enter like potentially Super Bowl category if you just go out and get Brian Burns. Damn. He is due a big deal.
The offers are gonna be there.
Some team will probably come around with a first.
Someone's gonna want it, yeah.
I buy it. They haven't given him a contract yet. I buy that they will trade Brian Burns.
I'm gonna buy as well.
All right, next up, my boy. We just talked about how great he's been this year. Chase Young.
Sell.
I'm selling that, yeah.
Sell.
Chase Young has been one of the best pass rushers in the league.
And Washington's still competing.
Yeah.
Sell.
All right. So we'll end this off with two receivers, both on the same team. We'll start with
they're going.
Yep. We'll start with Jerry Jeudy.
Buy.
Gone.
Yeah, I think it's a fire sale in Denver.
Big time buy.
Yeah.
And then his running mate, Cortland Sutton.
Yeah,
Sell.
They're all.
I actually think I think he stays.
Yeah.
I don't think they leave Russ with nothing for the remainder of the season.
I guess that's fair. Yeah.
I think Sutton stays. I think they get more for Judy, so they trade Judy.
That makes sense. I'll go sell for that same reason.
And that's what I got.
All right.
Shout out to our partners over at Thrive Fantasy. If you guys don't know about Thrive Fantasy, how about you get with it? We're competing in Thrive Fantasy's Proptober contest. They have all their partners participating in this contest right now, and we're currently in first place. Tied for first place, yeah. How it goes is pretty much you do a pick 'em slip over under. The more picks you have in your slip, the more points you get. The less picks you have in your slip, the less points you get. Simple. And we're currently in first place. So what we need is your guys' help because we want to win this thing.
I'm just curious. Is there any deal when you deposit money? I'm just wondering.
On Thrive?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I was just.
Is there actually?
Oh, there's a. Oh man, you got.
What's the deal,
dude? It is the deal of a lifetime. Let me tell you. Okay. When you deposit up to $250 into Thrive Fantasy and use code BallGamePod. I'm sucking off my microphone to tell you that. Use code BallGamePod on Thrive Fantasy, and they will match dollar for dollar, penny for penny, your deposit.
No fucking way. You're lying.
Penny for penny.
Time out. I need to clarify. So if
it's a lot to take in.
If I put $250 into my Thrive account on my first deposit using code BallGamePod, I get a free $250.
If you deposit up to $250 into your Thrive account using code BallGamePod
in my account,
you'll have $500, and
I only spent $250.
Yeah, and then you could bet all that money and win.
Win more.
Yeah.
So we need you guys to sign up for Thrive Fantasy because, like Tom said, one, it's free money. Who doesn't like free money? But two, we need you guys to help us out. We need you guys to tell us the locky locks of all locks because the winner of Proptoberfest is getting 2 tickets to any NBA or NFL game. And we're going to give those tickets away if we win. So if you want a chance to win, you're going to have to help us out with our locks. I'll tell you that much. First of all, you got to be subscribed. You got to follow us on all our socials, all that fun stuff. But we're not giving our free tickets away to someone who doesn't help us with this thing. So
Bingo.
download Thrive Fantasy. Any game, Thursday night, Sunday morning, Monday night, London, whatever it is. Whatever games you like. If you like a line.
Germany.
Yeah, if you like any lines, anyone's over or under, just let us know, and we'll use it in consideration, and that'll be your entrance into the giveaway.
Facts.
So let us know what lines you guys like. Again, huge shout out to Thrive Fantasy. They're doing big things over there. Shout out our guy. I need a hat or something.
Yeah.
Facts.
Thrive Fantasy. Yeah. Justin, I don't know if you watch our
Hook it
podcast,
up, brother.
Justin, but I'm going to need that Thrive Fantasy hat.
Also, we're going to be winning money, right? So here's the thing. When you win that money on Thrive Fantasy, you better go and buy some tickets with the best ticketing app on the market, an app that we, by the way, use to go to a Monday night football game in a few weeks. The Chargers and the Jets should be a fun one. If you're going, let us know. Big tailgate party coming up. But anyways, be sure to use SeatGeek for those because, as I said, best ticketing app on the market. They grade each deal on a scale of 1 to 10, with green being a good deal and red being a bad deal, as per usual. So be on the lookout. If you can't read numbers, you have colors. And if you can't see colors, you have numbers. So there you go. They take care of all of your needs there. Be sure to use code BallGamePod with your first purchase with SeatGeek for $20 off. Again, code BallGamePod. I can't stress that enough. We've said it a million times already. For $20 off your first purchase with SeatGeek. Big shout out to our guys over at SeatGeek. Thank you for helping us out. All right.
That's it.
What a time to be alive, guys.
Hell yeah.
Please be sure to leave a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Before we do that, follow us on all of our socials as well. Big episode coming up Saturday, Western Conference preview. Be sure to tune into that.
It's going to get heated.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's gonna get spicy, man.
Oh, it's going to get big time spicy. Hot takes on that show as well for the Western Conference. Be on the lookout for that. And check out all of our videos in the past. And with that,